Get ready for the most glamorous event of the year, the U2B Streets Awards 2025, February 9, 2025, at Laven Midtown, located at 641 West 42nd Street, New York City. Join us at 12 p.m. for the pre-show red carpet extravaganza and a chance to win $500 in our fashion contest. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., enjoy the gold tier experience with speakeasy confessionals, press interviews, and premium cocktails. At 4 p.m., the platinum tier includes performances, a comedic host, an award ceremony, dinner, and gift bags. From 8 p.m., the diamond tier features a VIP after party with a DJ, aerial dance, fire performances, and gift bags. 24 U2 categories and many nominees. Can't attend in person? Stream the entire event live on Hush and Move Media via Uscreen for just $9.99. Get your early bird tickets before September 15, 2024. Visit now. Be a sponsor. Be extraordinary. Be there. Be great.
Welcome back, gents. Hello. I have a confession to make. On the We-On-Loc channel, I am just getting a little bit sick and tired of these celebrity bourgeoisie get along white supremacists. Douchebags. Still love you though. Still love you. What am I talking about? On the We-On-Loc channel, like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have not done so, please become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. As of everybody has heard, Ricky Smiley, comedian extraordinaire, radio host, and I don't know if he's an activist or not, but he went on a rampage. He went on a rant. Hi, how are you, Tanya? It's been a while. It's good to see you. He goes on a rant saying who we should vote for. We should vote for if you're not voting for Kamala Harris, then you're voting for Donald Trump. I'm getting sick of it. I'm honestly getting sick of this. I'm like, roll the up, dude. Like, it's just like my grandmother, not my grandmother, but my aunt on my father's side. Not much on my mom's side, because we don't even talk politics on my mom's side of the family. They're from the South. Over here, it's just like, who are you voting for? I remember this sitting at the dinner table and them asking me that, and I was a young kid then. It was like, I was like, I don't vote for anybody. And he got mad. As if I'm committing an act. As I am committing an act of treason if I don't vote for Democrats. I said, well, then I remember growing up and me having to have an argument, a fight with my oldest cousin, right? Always it's always a fist fight with my relatives. It's always a fist fight because they want you to vote for the most desirable, which are the Democrats. The least desired are the Republicans. But it's starting to look the opposite. It's starting to look that way. But now it's a fight overall. And it's like, now I don't care anymore. I really don't care. Because the one thing that I know that neither party has not discussed. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong, right? If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Reparations. Has anybody discussed anything in either party about reparations? Has either party discussed anything about police brutality and the gun laws? You can't give a gun to everybody. Has anybody discussed about this Roe versus Wade stuff? No, it's pretty much it's given celebrity status. And all these celebrities get hired into the White House and they just do complete damage. And at least in Donald Trump's expense, he's a good businessman. He makes good business. I just don't like his prejudice ass. But everybody gives a good reason why they would vote Donald Trump in, drop back in, because he's a former president. This particular president, Kamala Harris, well, she gives just a bad aura. She just gives a bad aura. And everybody's talking about that she doesn't have policies. She doesn't. She doesn't have any policies. She hasn't presented any policies. I'm still waiting for the debate. However, we still got these bums. I'm just getting so irritated of these bums. Steve Harvey, you old. You too old to be hanging out with the cool kids. You old as hell, partner. Do your little celebrity shit, bruh. I like Steve Harvey up to an extent. He was never funny to me. And what they did to Bernie Mac was totally effed up. But he's been dead for a decade now. And as far as Ricky, I don't know much about Ricky. I don't know too much about Ricky Smiley except he wears a damn dress and he acts goofy. That's his only lane fame to success is to act goofy and to wear a dress. But you got these bums always sticking Democrat flag in our face, which is blue. It's always sticking a flag in our freaking face. Right? Always telling us, go vote, go vote, go vote Democrat. Go vote Democrat. If you don't want to vote Democrat, then blah 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 blah. You're for Donald Trump. I don't give a fuck. I don't. It's my choice. And relatively, it's going to be a good choice. I never said to anyone that you can vote nationally. You can always vote for your local circuit. I've always said this. It's like you gotta vote for somebody because if you don't, the analytics picks it up. What are you talking about? The analytics only picks up those who have actually voted because it's tied into the ballot box. And they count the specific one. They count those specific ones that when you do go to vote, I can't even get it out. When you do go to vote, then it specifically counts and they pretty soon start discounting those who haven't voted. It takes a good minute for them to start counting votes off. But however it goes, however the census go. But I mean it when I say you need to stop listening to these old ass niggas. I'm so sorry. You need to stop listening to these old niggas. You need to stop listening to these old dudes that don't know what they're talking about other than to start kissing ass up another celebrity or start kissing ass of a person who has basically proven themselves to be unworthy. And I don't think she is worthy enough. However, I said it before and I'll say it again. I would not mind if she were in the White House. I wouldn't mind it at all because I want to see each and every single one of your faces my black brothers, when she is in office, if she decides to if they decide to vote her into office and she is sworn into office, I want to see the look on your faces, because it's not going to matter anything to me. It's not going to matter anything to me at all. I just want to see the look on your face. Oh, it's over. It's over for us. Yep. Yep. If you would have been smart enough, you would have been going the route of independency. You would have been going that route, my guys. Because I can't wait. I can't wait for this election. Hey, Diamond Forever. Damn, it's been a while. It's been a while since I seen you, my dear. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Las Vegas. I can't wait to see the look on your faces, my dear guys, that always seem to think that women are inferior. I want to see that. I want to see her get sworn in on Martin Luther King Day. I want to see that. The alpha was alpha by alpha. She's an alpha. I almost forgot she's an AKA too. And people in my family are AKAs. Shouts out to the AKA fraternity. Wow, however it goes. I don't pledge fraternity. None of that shit. None of that shit. None of that shit. But I think my brother Umar has some things to say about that. Yeah. Let's just see what he says about this here.
That ain't what this is.
If Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey want to go hard for Kamala Harris, they have a right to do that.
Before y'all start calling my radio show and DMing me, talking about why you ain't asked no hard-hitting questions, that ain't what this is. I'm throwing a lob. This is an alley-oop for a dunk, because this administration needs to get the word out of what they're actually doing and what they're actually accomplishing, so we can stop all this foolishness about what you're doing for black people. Can't nobody come out with no agenda and call it this for black people and expect to get in the White House. You got to play the game different. Y'all know what this is. So now,
what have she done? I can tell you what she's done. She's locked niggas up like you. These old country niggas. I swear to God. And what is this? I heard this talk before. What is this supposed to be? What is this supposed to be? You alien to who? To get along, right? You alien for who? I hope it's reparations. I hope it is. I hope that's the only thing that black folks have been harking for quite some time. And what has accomplishing voting for a Republican or Democrat have been doing for? I'm sorry, let me take that back. When you're voting democratically, you've been voting democratically for 2-3 decades. You've been voting for 93 years. 93 years. And what have you got? What have you accomplished? Nothing. Nothing but a bunch of celebration. Nothing but a bunch of amateurs. Nothing but a bunch of celebrityism. When are we going to get somebody serious? Every once in a generation, you're going to get somebody like a George Bush Sr. And I don't vote Republican at all. But at least George Bush Sr., is either junior or senior, at least one of the George Bushes did something right. Every once in a generation, you're gonna get a George Washington. Every once in a generation. I can't say the same for Nixon. I can't say the same for Roosevelt. I can't say the same for Bill Clinton. I can't say the same for Barack Hussein Obama. I can't say it.
Now this next question is another lob for her to dump. Because they done a lot, man. But we see, I'm on this radio show, and I'm hearing all these people talking about, I'm not voting if they not doing nothing for us. Listen to me. If you do not vote, the analytics will show. They know how many women vote, they know the age you are when you vote. If we don't vote, how we gonna ask for something next time? If you ain't got no voting power, you talking about reparations. Ain't nobody finna give you no reparations and you don't vote.
Well, that's what we're all here for, sir. Whatever happened to the 40 acres and a mule and $100? That's what the original free slave was supposed to get. After he done worked all that particular time, when he's not getting whipped, when he's not getting served up, and he was freed, he was supposed to get 40 acres and a mule and $100. Y'all gonna make me go politic on your ass, and I hate politicians, because politicians give you that illusion of inclusion that you have the freedom of choice, which you don't.
Oh, why you think they finna give us some money? No how, man. I hope they do. They owe us. I'll go down there. I'm sorry. Madam, I know I ain't coming back next year. Already.
I'm just sick of the black people on the internet talking about I'm not with her. Okay, so if you're not with her, that means you with Trump. And y'all need to block every last one of their asses on Facebook and on Instagram and social media and stop. Like that's just garbage.
Yeah,
it's just garbage.
People who particularly do not know about politics shouldn't even be in the position to open their mouths about politics. I told you I'm not a politician, but I just get sick of these Negroes on the horn, on their little podcasts, on their little radio stations. Man, put Umar on there, man. Put somebody on there. Don't be putting no Charleston crackhead white on that motherfucker. Just put in Umar. It'll school y'all a little bit. But I know how people like this act, man. It's just draining, man, to hear these old niggas. Shouts out to Jason Black and the Black Authority. It's shameful to hear these old niggas just speak. Sang for whatever that shit is. Gamma by Gamma. Y'all remember School Days, right? If you haven't watched it, you need to watch School Days, because it was actually good by Spike Lee.
Can
Everybody
we be
got
united
to find,
on anything?
Yeah. Can't agree on a damn bucket of chicken. One person want a hot dog.
I always complain.
Black folks get on my damn nerves, man. Why everybody making all these celebrities making all these videos going off on Kamala Harris and stuff, and then the black men, Kamala Harris didn't prosecute you and treated you bad in court. I got treated bad in court too, but I'm with her because a vote for her. If you sit at home and you don't support her, you are definitely supporting the.
Why are we voting for her? Niggas always want to skip. Niggas always want to skip to my loo. Niggas always want to skip to my loo to the very end of it. I was like, no. Stay on this point. Why is it so important to vote for Kamala Harris? Why is it important? They never want to give that response. If you don't vote, okay, I get it. What am I voting for? Why? Because of what? Because of this, that, because of A, because of B, because of C. Why? I don't particularly know, because I don't know her policies. I know Trump's policies, but I don't know hers. What's her policy? Man, the policy is to get your ass up to the poll and take your booty to the polls and go vote. Y'all remember to go take your booty to the polls? When that lady was pop locking, she was pee popping, pee pop your ass to the polls. Y'all really just desperation is what I call it. Just desperation type shit.
Donald Trump, you can vote for who you want to, but don't be trying to encourage other people and sit up there and put bad stuff. Where's that same energy for Donald Trump? Yes. We need to stand with her. She's Absolutely. Great. She will make a great president.
Why? How? We don't ever want to get into those conversations. How?
Blessing to be living in a time where a black woman can become president of the United States of America. In our time, we get a black man and a black woman become president. That's unheard of.
Come on, man.
Stop it.
Messy. Be on the right side of history. Be on the right side of history.
Do your homework.
Black hold up. Let
the right side of history? When are we going to get on the right side of history? We've been on the wrong side of history under Barack Hussein Obama for 8 years. That's 2 terms. 8 years, 2 terms. I didn't know better. I know now. You got to know policy. If I don't know policy from you, then why am I voting for you? Because you're a great prosecutor? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, the fun and games are over. The going to your polls because it's the right thing to do, that's all over with. And my family can disown me. every election circuit, they can just disown me because I hold my vote. I hold my vote for these big nobodies. Hell, if I saw Cory Bookham today, the questions that I would ask him are what type of policies are we getting? And are we getting reparation? He's too young. He's too young. And I don't know any other candidates other than him. I don't. But you're not going to sit there and convince me or yell at me as if to say you're doing the wrong fucking thing. You're not going to convince me of that. What about Judge Joe Brown? George Joe Brown said, best she's in opportunist, and what team has she's managed? Well, she's managed to put a whole bunch of innocent black people in jail for crimes that they didn't commit. She's threatened to put people in jail that don't take care of their kids, which is obviously a no-no. And she's also expressed and admit that she's not just going to do things just for black people. No. I mean, that's just what she said. I mean, I could play the clip if you like, but that's just what she said.
Let me just tell you something right here that could be very historic. And Kay pointed this out to me. If Kamala Harris is elected, she would be sworn in.
She could be sworn
on
in
MLK Day
by the first black Supreme Court,
and possibly by Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah.
Wow. Does that not give you chills?
Come on, stop it.
Does that not send
Maria?
Just make your whole body vibrate.
Maria,
oh my
I can
God.
go deeper than that. You got a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated reading in a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated into the damn White House. What's wrong with y'all?
Come on, man.
MLK holiday.
But y'all mad because she ain't talking about reparations.
They offered me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. I don't want your money, but we can definitely do the interview. Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Listen, if Uncle Steve Harvey and Uncle Ricky Smiley want to go hard for Kamala Harris, that is their business. If Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey want to go hard for Kamala Harris, they have a right to do that. They have a right to do that. What they don't have a right to do is shame other Africans into voting for her. They cannot do that. They were wrong for that. You can't shame people into not voting for someone who has no record of doing nothing for them. Now that's where they're wrong. That's where they're wrong. You know, Steve Harvey's logic didn't make any sense. He said, if we don't vote, we won't get nothing. Well, you've been voting and you ain't got nothing. It's time to hold the vote until we get something. It's time to hold the vote until we get something. Ricky Smiley, I love my brother, but he was pretty emotional. He's talking about Supreme Court Justice Ketanji swearing in Vice President Harris.
You know what's so facts? You know what's so suave about it? When these dudes get emotional and shit, it's just funny. It's just freaking funny. How these dudes just jump up and down for a woman that, quite frankly, they don't know truth. They just don't know how to separate emotional from hard truth. They don't know how to separate themselves from the person from the politics that they bring, the good and the bad and the ugly. If, let's just say, if I know that the Waffle House or Lolo's Chicken and Waffle House, when they start promoting, it's like, I want to know how good this place is, right? How good the chicken is, how good the waffles are. I want to know this, I want to know that. I want to know the history of these people, good, bad, and indifferent, and their policies and what they bring to the table, not just for Black people, because you know they're not going to do anything for Black. You know they're not, unless you yell, scream, and rave. Unless you yell, scream, and rave about about your situation, about how the Black community has been served a whole bunch of knick-knack, paddywhack, and a whole bunch of trash for decades. If you're not out there protesting, if you're not out there giving just shouting to the hills and giving your opinion, if you're not joining the NAACP, if you're not joining any fraction to get your point across, then no, they're not gonna. If you're not, most importantly, I almost forgot. Most importantly, if you're not an independent party, an independent Black party, I wouldn't call it Black, I'll call it something else. If you're not an independent Black party, if you are not an independent Black party, I'm on my Umar kit. If you're not an independent Black party, and if you're not holding that vote for somebody, I can't do it like him. I can't. But basically, what I'm saying is, if you're not giving them dollars up for a purpose, if you're not giving them dollars up for a purpose, let's just say if you get Cory Booker, that's the only person I can know. The only person that I know. If you get a young man like Cory Booker in your clutches, and you say, we come to the table already, and we have given our list of demands, and we give this man the money that is required to required the freedom that you desire, required to be free from oppression, acquired to be free from a state of depression. Once that happens, then guess what? We can hold that man accountable if he does wrong by us. We can't hold nobody accountable if we don't hold our vote. If we do not hold our vote. Because guess what? We're voting individually. And when you vote individually, you can't come up, we can't come up as a voting block. We can't do that.
They both belong to Black Greek fraternities. They'll get sworn in on Dr. King's Earth Day. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. That's all empty symbolism. We're done with that. You have to give us tangibles, not symbols, Brother Ricky Smiley. Tangibles, not symbols.
Oh,
one is an AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with miseducation? One is an AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with mass incarceration? One is an AKA, one is a Delta. What that got to do with gentrification and homelessness? That is nothing but empty symbolism. The member of one Black sorority swearing in the member of another Black sorority on the solar return of a brother ancestor, Dr. King, who belonged to a Black male fraternity. That's all fine and well. But telling Black people they should vote for the symbol, telling Black people they should vote for the symbol is not going to serve us, Brother Ricky. We need substance, my brother. We need substance. Medgar Evers did not die for Kamala Harris to become president. Stop the cap up. Dr. King did not die for Kamala Harris to become president. Stop the cap up. The purpose behind Fannie Lou Hamer's Voting Rights Act, the purpose behind the Fannie Lou Hamer Voting Rights Act was for Black people to be in a position to use their vote so they could receive tangibles. Voting is not supposed to be a symbol. Voting is supposed to be a transaction, a power transaction. You want my vote? We want your resources. You want my vote? We want the resources. Voting is not supposed to be a ritual. It is not supposed to be a symbol. It is supposed to be a transaction. You want my vote? We want some tangibles. If we can't get no tangibles, you can't get no vote. Steve Harvey said, they can't give us no reparations. What'd he say? We're not going to get no reparations if we don't vote. You've been voting Democrat for 93 years, Steve Harvey. Been voting Democrat for 93 years, Steve Harvey. Been voting Democrat for 93 years, Steve Harvey. How many more years you got to vote Democrat to get some reparations? The problem with you Black celebrities, the problem with you Black celebrities, you are the new Black bourgeoisie. You are the new Black bourgeoisie. And you are going out of your way to stay relevant with the white power structure by trying to shame Black people into voting for people who don't do anything with them. That ended with Barack Obama. That ended with Barack Obama, the new generation of American Africans. These under 30s today, they not like the under 30s of Barack Obama 16 years ago. See, 16 years ago, the 30-year-olds of today were 15.
Yep.
16 years ago, the 30-year-olds of today were 14. They were babies under Obama.
Yep.
They were babies under Obama. But you fail to realize they grew up on Dr. Umar Ifatunde doctrine. These 30-year-olds, they grew up on my messages. They grew up on me. So you can't seduce them with emotions. You can't seduce them with intellectualism. You can't seduce them with symbols and empty promises. They grew up under the Prince of Pan-Africanism. They've been watching me and listening to me for 15 years. You can't get over on them like you got over on their parents. You can't get them to the polls on November the 4th.
Have you ever noticed in this generation that a lot of these young cats are starting to get a little bit vicious? Have you ever noticed by every live stream, everything that they see through the glands of everybody's live stream, what's the word I'm looking for? What they see on television, what they see when people go live, and they take it and they analyze and they ask so many damn questions, and you can hear them, you can hear the frustration, right? You can just hear and feel the frustration of these young men, right? Because I understand you want something to happen, but you just can't go in there blind you just going on a rafter without a paddle. You can't go in there blind. But my point is, each and every single year, they always get pressured because of the same words, the same exact words. And it's always twisted, because I remember when we went to go to the Obama rally, and of course it was Democrat versus Republican. I think it was Obama versus Mitt Romney. And everybody was booing Mitt Romney. He said, "Don't go out and boo, don't go and boo, go and vote." Trigger. You need to just shut up and vote. People died for your right to be in this country. People died for your right to vote, because there was once upon a time that men couldn't vote. There's once upon a time where women couldn't vote. Yeah, there was once upon a time that men couldn't vote too. But there was also once upon a time where they killed you for having a gun. If it wasn't for people from the North, the generals from the North that was fighting the South, if they did not give the African at that time the guns that they needed, because they're going to put them on the front lines, regardless if they were or not, they were going to put their asses on the front lines to fight for their liberation, not yours. Their freedom and liberation is not yours. So you were forced into that situation. No one told you to go into. We don't go into the black man's army. Some of us are forced. Some of our ancestors were forced into that. Yes. Don't force me to vote for somebody who is a no good talent asshole like Donald Trump, or some no good behemoth like Kamala Harris. If we can sit and again, it goes back to the thing where Ice Cube did. Remember when Ice Cube presented his African American, his black package to both Donald Trump and Joe Biden at the time? What did both of them tell him? What did both of these fine old gentlemen tell him? I'll wait.
with no damn a Delta swearing in an AKA on an Alpha's birthday. That don't mean nothing to us. We respect Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I love my Delta Queens. We respect Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority.
What if I told you that instead of setting up a green screen, you can just click a button in Descript and get the same exact effect? So I have my project here, and as you can see, my background is not very pretty. All I have to do is select my layer in the canvas.
Sorority Incorporated. I love my Alpha Queens. We Alpha Phi Alpha Sorority. I love my Alpha brothers, but that ain't got nothing to do with this. This is not sorority business. This is American African business. I said this is not sorority business. This is American African business. And if Kamala Harris, Donald Trump, Jill Stein, Cornel West, if they can't take care of African business, the American.
Who want to vote for Cornel West? Who would want to vote for Cornel West? I'm curious. Who would want to vote for Cornel West? This is an actor, ladies and gentlemen. Mind you, an actor and an activist. I'm getting sick and tired of these actors too. I can understand it if you were an actor at one point and then you transitioned over to politics, but if you clicking back and forth, and it's like it's not important to you. It's just like a MMA fighter going into acting. He's been fighting for so long and he's been winning title after title after title. He's the one we're most fear, right? But then you go into acting and you lose all that mojo. Well, I need somebody to be freaking serious for once.
African business, don't come to me. Black vote ain't for sale no more. Black vote ain't for sale. We bartering on business. We standing on business. Bring us some tangibles or get out of my face. Ricky Smiley, I love you. But crying on the radio for Kamala Harris, my brother, that's an all-time low. Don't do that again, Ricky Smiley. Don't you get on your radio show and cry for Kamala. Don't you do that, my brother. If you want to cry for Kabama Harris, you do that in the privacy of your house. But if we're going to be honest, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley, and I love you both, no hate to my big brothers, but if we're going to be honest, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, y'all only carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please be honest? Can we see? I want y'all to understand, overstand, and understand what King Kong is talking about. Y'all carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we're not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we're not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we're not going to get nothing out of the vote, but they being paid, y'all being bought. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. I don't want your money, but we can definitely do the interview. They offer me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. Yes, we can do the interview. Keep your damn money. King Kong.
To Mr. Charleston White, for those who know Charleston White, I'm going to need Charleston White to shut the hell up about Dr. Umar. Number one, Dr. Umar does not want to challenge the help. He does not want to challenge the help. A nigga that can't sit still for an hour. A nigga that can't sit still for a whole hour. He wants nothing to do with you. And I wish niggas who had their own podcast would stop asking. It's not gonna happen, bruh.
Consciousness ain't for sale. I'm one of the real ones. Silverback Garvey Gorilla. I'm one of the real ones. Silverback Garvey gorilla. Don't come to me with no propositions for money. I don't live for no money. I'm not one of these goofy ass rappers whose whole life is nothing but what you can buy and own. You dealing with real African DNA. This is real ancestral energy over here. I'm not no Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. You don't drop no check off and say, get the Negroes to the plantation on November the 4th. You don't drop no check off and say, get the Negroes to the plantation. Oh, yes, brothers and sisters. Costa Rica, y'all better be ready tomorrow night. Limon province, where Marcus Garvey used to live, where Marcus Garvey used to work, where Marcus Garvey edited his newspaper, La Nacion, Costa Rica, Limon province. King Kong is coming in the footsteps of Garvey. All Central American Africans, get your ass to Limon province tomorrow. We're going to organize. We're going to organize my Spanish-speaking African brothers and sisters. I said, we're going to organize my Spanish-speaking African brothers and sisters. Limon in the footsteps of Garvey. Puerto Viejo Saturday in the footsteps of Garvey. Come on, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey. Ricky Smiley. Let me come on the Ricky Smiley show. Let's talk about election 2024. Let me come on the Steve Harvey show. Talk to me, Steve. How much did they pay you to push Kamala? The price is right. Steve Harvey, was the price right, my brother? Was the price is right? When the price is right, the Negropeans will unite. When the price is right, the Negropeans will unite. When the price is right, the Negropeans will unite. Talking about Medgar Evers died for Kamala Harris to be president.
Who said that?
Ifatunde army. I can't wait to see who they roll out for the Democratic National Convention. I can't wait to see. I hope my sister Beyonce don't show up for them. Who they going to get at the Democratic?
I'll just get sick of the celebrity shit. I get sick of the celebrityism. I listen. I have nothing against Meg the Stallion. Meg the Stallion can get it. I have nothing against Meg the Stallion. I just don't want to see her in a part where it's important right now because I know the trick bag. I know the trick bag. It's no different. Kamala is no different from when Hillary Clinton was on the Breakfast Club and she poured out hot sauce out of her purse. She's no different. And then what's so rude is Joe Biden said, if you're not voting for me, you're not black. It's like, oh, really? Did I miss this train? Did I miss this train? It's like you ask any of these people questions, they just go on a little tirade. Does anybody remember Ronald Reagan? Anybody remember when Ronald Reagan went down to the hood? I think it was Philadelphia, somewhere on, I think it was Washington, somewhere in Washington. Does anybody remember? Probably not, because you haven't seen it. The part where he goes down there and the people were just furious and just like, motherfucker, you gonna do something? He's like, dude, I'm telling you. I gotta see Ronald. Ronald. Hold on. I need for you to see this. Ronald Reagan. You know Ronald Reagan was an actor too, right? Does anybody know that? Ronald Reagan was an actor. I think Bill Clinton was an actor at some point. We all know Donald Trump in The Apprentice. We don't even have to go into that, even though it was a good show. Which one was it? Goes to the Bronx. Okay, I think it was the Bronx. Where was? There it is. Yeah, the brother went to the Bronx. The brother went down to the Bronx and was getting asked all them hard questions. Back when I was born. Oh yes, back when I was born. Now, I don't know specifically what had happened, but Ronald Reagan goes down to the Bronx, South Bronx, South Bronx. Shouts out to KRS-One. And everything is pretty much abandoned and torn down and just wrecked at this point. And this is where people live. This is their homes. And for some odd crazy reason, it ended up this way. And this is and he comes down there after being summoned. And this is the result. This is the reason why I wouldn't want to be president. Because your responsibility is to the people, I believe.
I don't know that the Klan is endorsing you, but I can tell you I don't endorse them. There's no place in America that's anything like that.
You know what they just asked him? Is are you affiliated with the Klan? Is like I don't affiliate with the Klan. I think at some point you know who's endorsing you. At some point in time, you know who's endorsing you. Because they're giving you, they don't care who it is. It could be David Duke or Richard Spencer or whoever. All those white ringers. It doesn't matter. Somebody's going to give you money. The question is, do you accept it? Of course you do.
Mr. Reagan, Ronald Reagan, please.
me answer. I know.
Mr. Reagan, please, I got a question for you.
But I heard your question. Let me try to answer. Listen, wait a minute.
Please, cool it down, cool it. The man got something to say, cool it.
Will you hold it down on account of I'm getting pretty hoarse. I've been making.
Cool it, please, cool it down. With your own
Let him speak. Now listen.
It's not easy when you're dealing with black folks, is it?
I've been asked a few questions down here. I'd like to try and answer them. All right.
Let's hear what
I came here because almost 3 years ago, President Carter came down to this very spot and he announced a great plan for building houses for 27,000 people, building industries to provide jobs, really taking care of the entire thing, about $1.5 billion plan. It is 3 years.
What are you going to do?
Wait a minute.
What are you going to do?
It is 3 years and nothing has been done. Wait a minute. The plan. Please, wait a minute.
Listen,
man. I'll get there.
But you don't need to speak. Just tell us, and we be happy. We go home.
All right. Now that was all.
Nah, I have to admit, you can't be at an election and being at an emotional state. Too many things can go wrong. Is simply put, if we had our own, we can hold people like these accountable for and responsible for damn near everything that's when we read the policies, something that we don't like, we don't have to vote. We don't have to vote on it. We can just simply hold our vote until it's just like saying thank you, but no thank you. But too many black people are scattered. Too much of us are scattered everywhere. We can't decide on one thing. And this is the reason why Pan-African, and I think is the best served for us as American Africans in this country. I think it's best proven that if we go Pan-African, we can just weed the fields, the cornfields, and see shit for what really is. We can see the writing on the wall for what it really is, if we knew who we were. Because quite frankly, people who are in these little cult groups like FBA and Adolfs, I respect their movement, but it doesn't go anywhere. It hasn't gone anywhere for 10 years. It has not gone anywhere in 10 years. Spec reparations, Yvette Cornell has been yelling in her little dorm. Let me not be disrespectful. She has been yelling in the clouds for reparations for years. Her and Tone Talks have been screaming reparations for years. Have they received it? Have black folks who are Adolfs received it? No. Have FBA, led by Tariq Nasheed, we all know, it's been over a couple of years. I know his hustle gang. Has he received reparations for his people? No. The only thing he's received, he's given his people, are a bunch of mixtapes, mink slides, and comedy relief, and a museum that's not really a museum. It's just a whole It's just a building with a whole bunch of artifacts, in my opinion. But I can't really get mad at that because he had the people, he scanned the people out of what? It was like, they said it was $2 million. A building like that for $2 million? LA must be expensive. But let's continue.
Almost 3 years ago, and today the president blames the local officials, the mayor of the city, and others, and says they called it off.
What are you going to do? Well,
right now in Congress is some. I'm trying to tell you. I am trying to tell you that I know now there is no program or promise that a president can make that the federal government can come in and wave a wand and do this. Yes, there is legislation in Congress, legislation for cooperation between government, between the private sector, and using tax incentives to give the people who will take jobs, the people who will come in here and build businesses, that will give them an incentive to come in because they'll get a tax break while they are putting those businesses and getting them established to provide jobs. Now, I support that kind of legislation. And I've got a record as governor of California in which we didn't try to do things by the government route. We used the people, and we got jobs for the people in the private sector, the kind of jobs that have got a future.
Asking you for help now because you're here, and Charlotte Street is popping.
But I can't do it.
Not by yourself, but you can put a word in for it. Why don't you do it? I'm not going to hate him. Are you crazy?
Look, if you will listen for a minute, what I'm trying to tell you is, I can't do a damn thing for you if I don't get elected.
No, but after, what are you going to do anyway? We'll make promises.
I just finished telling you and you wouldn't stop talking to listen.
Well, no, you just listen to everybody else.
That if I get in the White House, I won't do the same thing Mr. Carter did and forget all about this.
You haven't.
Promises after promises after promises after promises. This is beginning to look like another bad episode of, I don't know, the Three Stooges. But I thought I'd just show you that. I thought I'd just show you that clip to remind you this year what you're going to get into. Basically the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. If you believe that Trump is going to sign that package for black people, that let me go into that. I have to find it because you're gonna let me. Y'all gonna let me get into some politics. Now, I hate politics. I really do. But for y'all, I'm gonna go and read it. I'm gonna go and read it for myself because I think it's public knowledge. I think it's public. I'm not sure. I'll go into it just for y'all. But until that time, watch some of the reactions to this whole mess
that are speaking out today. Specifically, for example, a man that was on death row over in San Francisco that she withheld evidence for, or she would not let him continue to test in order to prove his innocence. In order to prove his innocence, and Gavin Newsom had to step in on her behalf and override her in order to ensure that the man wasn't executed.
Hold on, Jameis. All right, hold on. Wait.
Right here, shoot me up. Because
Anton, that's one.
What
about everybody else?
Hold on, Vic. Hold on.
I can speak on that. I can speak on more about her reputation.
Okay, cool. She wasn't responsible.
I'm gonna let her finish.
She was in that position. What happened was not under her. That wasn't her responsibility.
It was under her. She was the district attorney of San Francisco at the time. 100%. And more importantly, there is evidence and a person's family member that was in charge of what was happening inside of the lab, which ultimately is the thing that people were complaining about as far as all of these false drug charges that was being levied against Black people over in San Francisco. The family member of the person that tampered with the evidence inside of the San Francisco lab, and this is a fact. This is not my opinion. You can go and research it. Hold on. Literally, she opted to continue to go forth with the prosecution of these people, even though they knew for a fact that a lot of this evidence had been tampered with, but they were playing with people's freedoms. And so if you want to sit here and have a conversation with me about character of a person, we have real evidence about how it is that she treats people that look like you.
He's talking about Kamala. Now, this is where I separate myself deliberately from, well, damn, I said that wrong. I usually separate myself completely from Anton because he's a buffoon. But in this case, when it comes to Kamala versus Trump, I hear it. I hear the good and the bad with Trump because we all know he's a racist. We all know that. And he loves the hell out of some Black celebrities. But with Kamala, we're coming out, we big came out the gate and said, this woman is wrong for the country. But again, I'm not going to put myself back on camera once again. I can't wait until she's in office. If she's in office, I'm going to have the biggest smile on my face. I am. Happy Friday. Hey. Well, it ain't Friday yet. It's still Thursday. Yeah, it's still Thursday over here. But hey, how you doing? How you doing? We're just talking Kamala Harris stuff. That's all we're doing. Let's continue.
It came from the lower prosecutor out of that situation. We can keep going. Transparency in the justice system. So it came from a lower prosecutor. That was not her job or her responsibility.
Yes, it did. Yes, it was.
Because she's a Black woman.
That's like saying Fonnie Willis, who's overseeing Fulton County District as the district attorney of Fulton County, is not responsible for what happens in her office, especially if she have evidence to the contrary of whether or not somebody should or should not be prosecuted. Don't gaslight me.
I'm not gaslighting you, but who's going to get fired? Who's going to get fired? Is it her or she going to have to do
that? It's not about getting fired. It's about whether it's not about getting fired.
You're going to
take. It's about whether or not she actually did the right thing as the district attorney of San Francisco. It's not about being fired. Listen, she was never supposed to be in this position in the first place because she didn't even win the primary when she was running in 2019. She got the least amount of votes. They gave y'all her. They gave her.
What are you talking about?
And more importantly,
Trump's the whole thing.
More importantly, to go back
to what are you talking about?
To go back. Trump actually won the primary.
He's a fucking felon.
Anyways,
the Republicans don't want Trump.
To go back to the original point.
What are you talking about?
Even Andrew Yang and every other, all of the Democrats in 2019, you could have went through his website and looked through every single one of his policies.
I almost forgot about Andrew Yang. Let's all vote for a Chinaman. Our first Chinaman. Now we put a Black man in office. Why don't we put a Chinaman in office? Yay! We can all cut our hairs in a bowl. We put a bowl and have a nigga cut around the motherfucker. Look slanted. Maybe we could get reparations then. I don't know.
Policies that he was proposing as a primary candidate. You don't have to wait till the Democrats.
We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity not just to get by, but to get ahead. Where every senior can retire.
That was so fake. That was just that was so AI, in my opinion. That was just so straight up AI. Yeah, if y'all don't get it, if y'all don't get it by now, I should have even put a poll up. Who y'all voting for? If y'all don't want to tell me, you don't have to, but I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care either way. But who are y'all voting for? I would like to know.
Who you ain't get right now?
Stop, bro. Stop.
What was the case?
You don't have to wait until the Democratic National Convention.
What was the
Republican National Convention to have proposed policies? Vivek Ramaswamy had proposed policies on his website as a primary candidate prior to the Republican National Convention, in which they determined that Trump was going to be their representative on the Republican side. Stop gaslighting me, acting like that she don't have to have policy. Or she don't have to have proposed policy.
Jamisa, you got
89 days away from the November election.
All right, so anti.
How you gonna vote for somebody that ain't even got no policy?
Trump has been running for the last 3.5 years. What are you talking about? He's been running since 2020.
No. She gonna come up here and tell me
I'm waiting on the case.
She said she was independent, but she was voting on somebody and she didn't even know what the proposed policies are yet.
I'm well versed in governmental affairs. I'm letting you know, regardless. Well, that's okay. What case? What case did she withhold evidence on?
Don't sound like it.
What's the case she withheld evidence? Because it can't be.
Let me go in and do some research because I didn't know that we was gonna actually be citing.
It's the George.
You said a name.
Case.
You said a name.
He wasn't elected into office when that happened.
You basically shouted it out, and they're specifically asking you what was the case. I mean, obviously there's some people who are for Kamala Harris specifically, but ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get into the reasons why we shouldn't be doing this. Number one is it's a real big mess. You got those who are for Harris and those who are for Trump, right? It becomes a real big mess. But the one thing that I really, hey, Mahogany, hey, boo, I really need for people to stop doing is saying when they ask the specific reasons why are you voting for this particular person, and your only excuse is he's old. Okay, we get all that. He's old. And you say he has shitty policies. I was like, okay. He hates black people. Okay, I get all that. He's a racist. I get that too. But that's not the main reason why. Everybody is racist. Everybody's fucking racist. That ain't that's nothing to me. Okay, put it on the, I'm gonna write it on the chalkboard. He is racist. Okay, all right. He is Donald Trump is 78 years of age. All right. He is senile. No, that's the other guy, Joe Biden. But either way, it could go either way. But anyway, I never want to do that to people because I could be 78 and senile one of these days. But God forbid, knock on wood. But anyway, yes, Donald Trump hates Mexicans and immigrants. All right. So is he going to slow down police brutality? No, he's actually going to give aid to the police, right? But he's also going to build jobs for the community. Yes, he is. He's going to build jobs for the community by, I guess, selling some type of stock in China or something. Gonna sell MGM, gonna sell Dodge and Chrysler and all this other shit. for a better position. I guess. I don't know. I'm not a fucking politician. But I do know that we have the one most precious thing here in the United States that we need as Americans to just go ahead and get. And it's just like what these people up, and I don't know why we're sending troops over there to get the one most precious thing that we have over here. What would that be, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, I know. Oil. Oil, right? We have oil here in the United States of America. We don't drill for whatever reason why we not drilling. If we were to drill, and this is what I do believe, and I do believe this with all my being, if we do start drilling, I think we can call our own shots and make our own prices. Do you know the price of gas is right now? Screw that. Do you know the price of water? Guess how much water is right now? A pack of water. Guess how much water it is? Guess how much water? That the name brand ones is like $6 for a 23 pack. The name brand ones. The Kroger ones, $4. I mean, hell, you might as well just go to the goddamn grocery store and get you a case of, not a case of water, but you get you a gallon of water. Just get you a gallon of water for $1. Oh, now it's $2. Black gold, Texas tea. Y'all don't believe in it, but and then the one thing I would tell my people, I think it's time for you to start doing some stocks, but we'll get into that a little bit later. We'll do the whole stock thing a little later. How you doing, Mahogany Love? How you been?
But go ahead, when you look it up, holler at me.
What was the name of the person you said she was there?
Jamisha? What was the case?
The name of the case that he's speaking on is the George Gage case. And it shows and explains that she wasn't even in office when the lower level prosecutors did that. But you could go ahead and blame it on her. And
don't worry, I'll deep dive into it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna deep dive into it.
And suck my dick from the back.
Wait a minute, come on now. What are we doing?
What is
I know. Oh shit. I've never heard that one before. Oh, she said, suck my bleep from the back. Dollar Tree. I don't know. Their water's carbonated. I don't like drinking their water. I don't even like drinking their pops. Their pops are just too sugary. You ever had that Circle K? They had that Circle K shit. That's their shit. They buy their brands from. She said, "Suck my dick from the back." God damn. Damn. Wait a minute. That's a classic right there. I want to steal it.
Don't worry, I'll deep dive into it. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna deep dive into it.
And suck my dick from the back.
Wait a minute, come on now. What are we doing?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, where the fuck did that come from?
I'm talking to these people in here calling me ignorant and going in, so I'm gonna let you know.
No,
like I can't type in the chat.
No,
how are you paying attention to the chat?
She's
Yeah,
new. They're new. You got it. As I said, Jamisha, ignore them people in the chat. They live in their mama's basement.
No, they don't live in their mama's basement. And chat matters, and they can disagree with us. I don't believe in censoring the chat just because we don't necessarily get the support from the people that we think is supposed to support.
But I'm not about to be nobody's bitch up in the chat though. So that's one thing I'm gonna speak on. I'm not nobody's bitch. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but I'm not nobody's bitch. Let's get that clear.
So Anton, to the lab tampering, I also want you to look
Jasmine
up.
is so sweet.
All right, so to the lab tampering.
I like a feisty woman like that. I love a feisty woman. What's it ready for that? I'm cheap as fuck. No, no, the 99-cent store was bad enough. How many people? Y'all, come on, y'all. How many people? Let me get this. I'm gonna look straight. Y'all, I'm gonna look straight at the camera. I'm gonna look straight at the camera. How many y'all spent over $1,000 in the 99-cent store? Come on now, y'all know y'all spent over $1,000 in the 99-cent store. Come on, it wasn't just me. It wasn't just me.
When you get a chance, I want you
Hold
to
on,
look
man.
up.
Hold on. Let me.
Everything you're about to see.
Comment goes a long way.
Reset for the people.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Familiar, all right. Please do not pay attention to the chat. Please do not pay attention. Muted.
Oh, Victor.
Pardon?
That when we debate these topics, or when we talking about carried over his policies, but see what is happening at the border. That was soil without it being a fair trade agreement on both sides. I'm also a heavy supporter in what it is that he did from a tax perspective, because what it did was it allowed for American companies to bring foreign investment back into America at a lower tax rate, which was one of the reasons for the tax cuts in the first place. I believe in smaller government because I do not believe that the government should be playing a large role. I believe in less regulation, especially when it comes to energy, because it makes us less dependent on foreign oil. And it also allows for people to have a choice of whether or not they want to pick an EV, a hybrid, or a gasoline car, especially with the level of oil reserves that we have in the United States of America. So it's a whole lot of different reasons and a lot of policies that I support on Trump's side. I also am a fan of what he did for Black America when it came to opportunity zones, which was also a part of Tim Scott's, what him and Tim Scott worked on as far as what was happening in the red zone here in Detroit.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Over in Chicago, as far as making sure that they didn't continue to gentrify, but it gave opportunities over to Black people. It's a lot of different policies that I like that he did that I think is going to carry over into being a president of the United States of America. So everything that I support.
Yeah, but you don't have to force everything that you like. You don't have to force upon the people. It's just not realistic.
With regard to Trump has nothing to do with Kamala Harris, but I can separately, objectively evaluate her and say she has done nothing, and everything that she's done as far as being a part of this administration, which she should still be responsible for, has failed the United States of America. And everybody is worse off than they were 3.5 years ago.
Anton, I got one question.
Oh, I would have to say way worse off. I mean, have you seen our light? I wonder what what's y'all's gas bill? What's y'all's gas and electric bill? Is it more? Is it the same as it was that was what? Relatively 2-3 years ago, or has it changed? Is it significantly high? Because I know our rent has gotten significantly higher. It won't be high. We won't have to pay rent until October. We won't have to pay rent until high rent until October. So, but I know gas and electric is way out there. So yeah, I think your best bet is to vote for whoever. I don't know.
opportunity zones. Now, when I did my research on opportunity zones, and we all get out, we don't just wake up and know this stuff. We all research it. We find out the facts that we believe to be true. The opportunity zones, from the research I've done, was a failure for the Black community. It only gave money to big business. It's what fostered the new wave of gentrification in Black communities. It didn't give jobs to Black people. Now, with the new Google that we have, ChatGPT, when you ask it properly, it gives you facts. And you and everybody listening can go look up the opportunity zones benefit Black people, and it's going to tell you. Just like when you were speaking, I wrote some notes. You was talking about DEI has to go. I happen to be on a board, and on this board with this organization that hired people, had a history of hiring majority white people. When this board became majority Black people got opportunities to actually be looked at, because those that were hiring, I think they had the feeling that they'll be scrutinized.
Your rent bill was $66 a month. Where do you live? 66 a month? Is this your rent, or is it like your water or electric? I need to know, because our shit is over 1,000 right now.
If they continue to hire all white people, where it turned out Black people were the best option in several jobs in this board and organization that I worked in for a period of time.
What jobs?
Hired more Black people during a 3-year period than they had done in the history of this organization, and they've all worked out well. They didn't just hire Black people because they were Black. Diversity, if diversity, equity, inclusion is done properly, it actually allows for people to really not hire somebody they might feel comfortable going out with at night. It allows them to hire the best people that's here.
How does diversity, equity, and inclusion allow for you to hire the best people when it literally...
I can tell you.
Go ahead.
If you hear my example, what I'm telling you, I believe that the people that were doing the hiring.
I was about to say, if your rent is $66 a month, I need to come and suck your toes. And I'm gonna start begging. Can I please move on in? And I'll move in with you. Sure, I'll give you 30. Here's 30. Let me see. 66. I'll give you $33 a month. I'll give you $33 a month. Boom, out the little job that I got right now. Boom. How much is your water? I'll pay your water bill too. Shit. Rent is 30. Ooh. How much do we pay? Oh, we pay more than that there. We pay way more than that there. I wonder where you probably didn't. Wait, where are you from again?
Was just having their way. When they knew they had a board,
we pay $15.20 a month. Where are you from?
That was majority Black. They knew they had to scrutinize and look at these applications much deeper. And by doing so, with the hiring committees that were in place that had to judge on a rubric these applications and the experiences of the people, Black people ended up getting more jobs. But when those
wait. When you said they had to evaluate them on a rubric, what do you mean? I'm slow. I'm a C student.
No, you're not. I can tell you not. A rubric is
I am a slow person. I'm a C student.
A rubric is like a scale. You can't just look at somebody, have a good rapport with them when you take a break and say, I'd rather work with you, so I'm going to hire you. You have to actually look at their credentials and what they can bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're forced to actually look at the experiences and the education of people, and a lot of times you'll see that there are more Black people that should get the job. And that's what diversity, equity, inclusion, when done properly, does.
So we can't, number one, we can't quantify whether or not they were actually the best people for the job. It's impossible.
But you can't say it's diversity and equity inclusion is a bad thing across the board either.
It's 100% a bad thing.
Jersey. So you part of that Jersey Shore clique, huh? I haven't even seen the doggone show, but you know what I mean.
Tim Walz is a diversity, equity, and inclusion pick because they're using him in order to get a specific type of vote. They're not picking. Hold on, wait. Literally, they're not picking him.
When white people got jobs over black people all the time, that was diversity, equity, inclusion because they included who they wanted to.
No, it's not.
Oh.
No, it's not.
Okay.
100% not. And
So what do
we
you call it
know
then?
we know for a fact that Biden, for example, selected Kamala Harris, who had literally practically called him racist in a debate. He selected Kamala Harris in order to secure a vote. It wasn't that she was the best person for the job. She wasn't even the best person on the debate stage.
You want to talk about JD Vance?
No. Hold on. If we really just want to go based off of what America was selecting in 2019 and whether or not she was the best person for the position, and then we could retroactively look at whether or not she.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message. This is America's border czar, and she
did her job based off of what it is that they tasked her with. She was not the best person for the position at all, but we know that they selected her in order to win a certain demographic of people that was going to vote based off of their emotions.
So, Anton, you brought up the border control earlier. You said that was Kamala's job, correct? If Trump cares so much about the border, then why did he nip the bipartisan that the Democrats and Republicans had?
First of all, he's not a legislator. He's not in office. He can't nip anything. And number two, the reason that he did it, I'm gonna answer your question still.
Go ahead.
But the reason that he did it is because Democrats, A, was trying to justify the fact that they left the borders open. B, they tied the legislation over to funding to Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel. And what Republicans were saying is that those are two separate issues. The borders are a different issue than funding these proxy wars. And if you look at the legislation that they pushed through, they actually pushed legislation to make sure. And so Democrats were saying, well, we want money in order to continue to fund Zelensky and over in Ukraine. And we want that on condition of making sure that we can push through this bipartisan agreement. If you go back and you actually study it, they pushed it through along with it. And if you look at the infrastructure bill, if you look at the CHIPS Act.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a politician. I don't listen. If I were to get into politics, I got to study. I have to study algorithms. I want to study the census. I got to study everything. I got to study the books. I got to study pretty much any and every candidate that we have here, especially starting here in north and south of Las Vegas, Nevada. Who is a primary candidate for this, and this? Say for, let's just say for the Senate. This is say for the school administration, say for the legislations, say for mayors, everything in between, which I need to call the mayor at this particular time. I really do. Because again, when I remember telling this to you, but when I had COVID for the first time, I was absolutely waiting. Everybody was waiting. Everybody was waiting on their unemployment. I mean, everybody. But this new and improved unemployment it's gonna get everybody up and working again, and It took motherfuckers like Jesus Christ, because everything was so new. Everything is so new. So I ended up waiting 9 months. 9 months just to get a lousy card. A lousy bank card for help. A lousy ass bank card. So shit happens. Shit happens. But if I were to be heavy into politics, which is just so a waste of time. It's just so a waste of time. No, Jersey was shot in Jersey Shore was shot in North Jersey. Well, my bad, dear. I didn't know. Jeez, don't yell at me. Gosh. Sheesh.
They always put a bunch of stuff in there that has nothing to do with what it is that they're advertising. And so Republicans, and Trump in particular, was saying, we need to nix this deal because they don't want to address the border, and they're aligning it with funding these proxy wars, and that's exactly what happened. That's to answer your question.
So hold on, wait. So if my left hand, I want to, fund the wars for Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. And my right hand, the Republicans want to close the border. And I'm coming to you as a Democrat. Hey, we can hit two birds with one stone. You still gonna nip it in the bud?
100%, because that shouldn't be, listen, it's some deals that shouldn't be bipartisan. And we should all agree. And I think that everybody everybody on this panel should agree that we should have secure borders. That should not be something that we need bipartisan agreement for.
Why hasn't that happened?
Let's take a roll call on it, because I agree with secure borders.
We all agree. That's not something that we should be holding up or debating. You shouldn't be bending Republicans over a barrel over the fact that you want to fund making sure that our borders are secure. That's not even something that you can argue.
But
I'm gonna fucking argue it though. God damn it.
She want comprehensive immigration. That's one thing she's saying. But they all saying things.
But it don't matter what they say, Trump because we know during the Biden administration that 10 to 15 million migrants illegally walked over into this border, and they sued Texas from preventing people from crossing the border illegally. So I don't care what she say. I know what happened over the last 3.5 years because
I'm sorry. Shame. I think right around this time we're all getting that way. I remember I was riding in the car, and my chest was hurting. I was like, oh God. And I plead the blood in the name of Jesus. Again, we get this. It's not just what's in the air, what we eat. No, it's just some of these people who constantly keep coming into the country, and new things are being built all the time. New buildings, new houses, new condos. They get built all the time for all these people to come in and just live, and you just wonder about them and wonder why you're around them, and you get sick because they don't wash it. And that's the one thing that pisses me off about America. You don't wash your hands, especially white folks. White folks don't wash their freaking hands for whatever reason. They could come out the bathroom. They come out the fucking bathroom stall and they never wash their damn hands for whatever reason. Number one and number two, they never wash their hands. So I usually look at them like, and wonder why you don't dab them up. I'm like, you don't wash your hands first? At least when the homeless guy comes in, he washes his whole ass in the he washes his whole ass in the sink. At least. I mean, you can at least wash your damn ass, man. Come on.
Covered it.
Who's faster? We have the ultimate match between a track star and Self's free rent reporting, and the loser gets a chilling ice bath with dip.
Extensively on my other show. Every day we had 2,000 and 3,000 people on a morning show, and we went through every single thing that was happening on the border for 1.5 years straight. I know what was happening. So I don't care what she say. I'm going by what they did.
So I have a question for you. Do you think the candidate that you're voting for supported DEI in his previous administration?
Hopefully he didn't.
Have I caught you in any casino have I caught you in any type of casino? Any type of casino that mostly white folks go into and do not wash their hands. Have I caught you? Absolutely not. I didn't say everybody now.
He did.
But the facts are facts. Most of you motherfuckers do not wash your goddamn hands. And I can count from each and every one of my freaking fingers which motherfuckers does not wash their fucking hands after they come out. That's just some nasty ass shit. And the women are worse. But we ain't gonna go on to the women. We're not gonna go on to women. We're not gonna go on to women. We are not. We gonna pause that shit right there.
Did though, because he was the one, but he did though, the first step back. So
and here's the thing.
And then the HBCUs. So you don't support HBCUs and them getting funding, or you don't believe in having HBCUs?
No, I don't believe in separation. I don't believe in that at all.
Are you serious?
And here's the beautiful part about it is I don't have to agree, but here's the beautiful part.
Using them getting funding, or you don't believe in having HBCUs?
No, I don't believe
using them getting funding, or you don't believe in
What did he say?
But he did though, the first step back. So
and here's the thing.
And then the HBCUs. So you don't support HBCUs and them getting funding, or you don't believe in having HBCUs?
No, I don't believe in separation. I don't believe in that at all.
Are you serious?
And here's the beautiful part about it is I don't have to agree with 100% of I don't agree with 100% of what my mama say, but I still support her because overwhelmingly she comes up with better ideas sometimes when it comes to what we having a conversation about. So I may not agree with everything that Trump does.
So can I ask you
agree with the majority of what he's advocating for?
You say you don't believe in separation. So do you feel when it comes to education that it's equal, or there's equity across this country when it comes to education for K through 12?
Probably not. Absolutely not.
So then,
but that's largely based off of, listen, the way that we fund schools is largely through your property taxes.
You don't have to tell me how we fund schools. I do know.
So I'm not telling you. I'm also having a.
Did you just give me hand sanitizer? Hand sanitizer is good for 20 minutes. No, I'm sorry. Good for only a certain period of time. Hand sanitizer is when you is temporarily after you go home. Wash your damn hands. These motherfuckers don't even use hand sanitizer. They don't. How? Okay. All right. For everybody in the room. All right. We gonna test. I have to go to the bathroom. Hold on. Hear me out. Hold on. I gotta go to the bathroom. I gotta take a shit. So I go into the bathroom and I let everything out. From the rooter to the tutor. And I feel so relieved. And so I wipe and I open the door and I just walk out. And I see y'all, I say, hey, what's happening, man? I feel so much better. You don't shake my hand? Y'all gonna shake my hand? Come on. Put a one in the chat if you know. Especially, listen, hear me out. You're a man, but wait. I almost forgot. I went to the thing, right? And I put hand sanitizer on me. Liquid. It's just a liquid with perfume. You ain't gonna shake my hand in. Let's go.
A conversation.
I know, I forgot.
So I'm prefacing this conversation by making sure that I add value, and I give the audience an understanding of why I'm going to answer the way that I'm answering based off of the questions that you ask me. Go ahead.
So education, what is your viewpoint on education when it comes to the administration that you would like to vote for?
What do you mean? Specifically what? Because education is broad.
Because he wants to get rid of that.
I wear a mask all the time. I don't trust people. You forget, I live relatively where people come in and out of Las Vegas. There are Las Vegas veterans that have been living here for years, But again, it's a tourist town. It's not even a tourist town anymore. It's a tourist town / sports town now. You know what I'm saying? Because we got football, we got basketball, we got ladies basketball, we got men's football, we got the Las Vegas Raiders are here. The Knights and baseball stadiums about to be built. This is a sports town now. And people are coming in and out, in and out, in and out, and they do not respect other people. They do not. Some do. I mean, they have, you know, that when it comes to your when it comes to bathing and shit like that, some of these motherfuckers coming in spanking like a motherfucker, and they want to go down and see the thing at the Bellagio. They want to see the little rain show at the Bellagio, and knowing these motherfuckers stinking. Usually they walk around the strip stinking. And usually it's those ones that sell you those flyers with the naked chicks on them. It's stupid.
Well, there's only one form of education. You have colleges, you have K through 12. So I'm asking, if he wants to get rid of the Department of Education, help me understand why you think that that's a good thing.
What do you mean? Why do I think that that's a good thing? I never said that it was a good or bad thing.
Okay, but I'm asking.
I never spoke on that.
Can you inform me? I'm assuming that you know everything about his policies if you're voting for him, or do you only know the policies that you support? Because I don't want to ask the question if you don't. Okay, so
I am familiar with his stance on the Department of Education, and
I want to know your viewpoint on it.
I'm familiar with his stance across the board, and that he thinks the government is too bloated and there's certain organizations that are no longer needed, which I may not necessarily agree with everything that he says.
But I'm asking specifically about education. Do you
agree
that it should be on state levels, knowing that there's not equitable allocation of funds?
100% it should be on the state level. I think that the majority of the decisions that are happening within the United States of America, whether you talk about abortion, education, I think that most of it should go to the state level, similarly to how it happened during the pandemic, which it basically removed the majority of the power from the president, and every governor decided what it is that they wanted to do on a state level, 100%.
So,
and I think that would actually galvanize voters.
You don't want the whole world to know how sick you are.
This girl can cause a lot of problems for us.
You've gone too far. What did you do?
More because the local elections and what happens on a local level is more impactful than what happens on a national level.
Absolutely. I was elected to local office, so I understand that. So now that we're on the same level, right? So we done took federal government and we done gave everything to the states. So when I speak,
not everything.
Okay, you're right. So when I speak, I just want to say that I'm we, meaning that it's something that I can do too. So if we're at the state level when it comes to education, right? And I'm looking at you and I see you as a Black man, so I'm going to assume you're a Black man. And I'm looking at you and understand, and I'm assuming that as a Black man, you do understand the plight of Black and brown communities. So if we put education on the state level, and all states are not, we're gangbanging, there's some fully red, there's some fully blue, there's some in the middle. We know Democrats want to have wild shit in the education system that we may not agree of, and we know the Republicans want to take shit out of the education system that we may not agree of. When we come to resources in education, because we know we need to be educated to be able to have jobs and continue the function of this country that we live in, if the states are not properly allocating funding to cities and counties, how are we going to be able to educate our children? And I speak from the minorities, right? I'm speaking of that mindset. How can we afford or have the ability to take care of our kids in the education system if we're not set up for success when it comes to having schools or charter schools where we
You're not asking a direct question as to solve for the education problem in the Black and brown community, as you stated, right? Because
again,
again,
where the resources gonna be at? How we get the resources?
Well, it's allocated on a state level, and so that then means that you remove responsibility from Congress in particular, and you remove responsibility from the president in particular, and you want to start having a conversation with your local legislation as far as how it is that they're allocating the resources and whether or not it's going to the places that you want it to go to.
And if you don't have people in the local legislation that represent what you need, right?
No, it's not an if. They do represent what you need.
No, they don't. There's
yes,
people
they
that are
do, because
for me that don't represent me. That's possible. I can.
And that means that you have a cultural problem, because you and I know both that, especially on an off-cycle election years where it's not a national election, that the voter turnout rate is less than 10% in most urban communities that you say that they need those resources. So I believe that on a cultural level, it's up to them to then determine what's best for them by participating and becoming informed voters. And so because listen, if a Missy Elliott concert come through or a Future concert come through, you're gonna have everybody in the community there. But these community meetings that you have on a regular basis, they're not gonna be there. So it's a cultural issue. And it has nothing to do with the responsibility of the elected officials, because the elected officials is just a reflection of the people.
Right. So, and we only have one vote. So if I'm only a section, right, because you have your whole state, and if I'm the only section and I have this person that I need to vote for, just because I want to vote for this person doesn't mean my neighbor votes for this person. So I can still live in a situation where, even though I did exercise my right to vote for the candidate that I want to get in.
That's why we vote locally. This is We-On-Loc Nation. Who is there?
I only got a couple minutes because I'm about to go into watch Alien Romulus. But the person, I'm driving, so I can't really see the photo of who's talking on the video. But it is so annoying to hear the advocacy of, well, no, they're not going to represent me. How is it having even higher levels of bureaucracy a better representation than local? Like, that just gets further away. Like, she's arguing against her own point. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, you're gonna have to help me on this, because I'm shitty at politics. You're gonna have to baby step me through what they are talking about. Are they talking about their local, or are they talking about their national election? Or talking about the national type shit?
From what I gathered, from what I've heard, and I'm guessing they're talking about Project 2025, which is its own.
That's another that's just New World Order shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a red herring, right? But within that, they talk about eliminate the Department of Education itself and put it back onto the state governments, right? So he's advocating, or she's saying, well, how can you get rid of the Department of Education? That's what Trump wants to do. That's insane, right? We'll get screwed. The guy is saying, no, you don't need a big central government agency to have good education, right? And then so her argument is, well, if you get rid of the federal oversight, then what if some of the states aren't doing it right? They're not going to keep, the states in check. And his counter response to her is, no, that's why you talk to your local officials, who then would have the ability to do the things that the local people want to do, right? Just like any school board, right? But if you've ever been to a school board or a PTA meeting, like that kind of stuff, right? There's a discussion going on, but nobody's really in control of the rules, because they're all federally mandated with different stuff, right? Or budgeting, all that kind of good stuff. So he's saying, no, you would have more control in your city, state, or town, as or your county, right? Because parents would pay attention to who is in the office. You elect them because they're the one. They can't pass the buck at that point, right? They can't say, well, this is the government. Yeah, the government did it, or whatever, right? And she's somehow saying, no, it'll be better. It's better to have people in Washington and Congress making all the decisions for us. That doesn't make any sense. She's arguing against her own logic.
Or what you can do is just homeschool your kids
homeschool. Right. But I mean, the reality is, not everyone.
Because they can't educate. I mean, They ain't gonna educate their kids properly anyway. And for the simple fact that they're underpaid and they don't want to see these kids 24/7 anyway. So that's what I take of it. Or if you have the money, send them to private school. That's what I do.
Yeah, I went to private school. My cousins didn't. I think we both basically turned out the same because we had good parents. Right?
Nobody. It's here we are for the plain human beings. It's bad enough that you're teaching these kids to think alike. Now you're gonna have them look alike too.
Right. Okay. I'm walking in the theater.
Machine type of shit. All right, man. Have a good watching the movie.
So
Let me know how it is. Let me know how it is.
I'll let you know.
All right, man.
Have a good night.
Good night. He's gonna see that alien type. I hate freaking aliens, and I hate predators too. But if you were to ask me, let's go see Predator versus Alien Part 2 or Part 3 or whatever, I'll go and see it. I'm not gonna pay for it. But here's what you say. Let's see. I'm due for a trip to Vegas. My old bones felt good in that heat. Not in this heat, dear. Not in this heat. I mean, it slowed down some, but in midday, it's terrible. It is terrible. That's why when I go out at night, you see skaters at night. You see skaters and boarders late at night. And because it's even though the sun is not out, it's more cooler than it was in the daytime. That's why everybody's so up at night, and it's Thursday night. Well, it's Friday night where you're at, but it's still Thursday night here. So shit, enjoy yourself. Hey, I'll be looking forward to seeing you. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you. Take you down here to the Fremont. Have you kick a guy in the nuts for like $72 or something? But that's Fremont. Yes, there's a guy. There's a guy that you can literally pay to kick him in the nuts as hard as you can. Yes. No joke. I am dead serious.
Then the other candidate got more votes. So now I'm in a situation where my funding is not going to be represented the way that I need to because that person that I didn't vote for never had me in their viewpoint. So therefore, I'm living under state guidance and my kids aren't getting educated because there's not enough funding coming to my community. So then where do I go? Because it's based on your state level, right, for your funding, but also your county commissioners. But if I don't have people in them seats that believe that money should be allocated to general fund to pay for supplies or give more teachers or build infrastructure, what I'm supposed to do as an individual with one vote?
Then that means that you need to go and have just as passionate of a conversation with the people of your community as you having with me on this panel.
Oh, I do. I'm past that. I'm speaking in general.
I'm answering in general. That means that it's an education problem that's happening in the communities. And even when it comes to politics and politicians, they don't go through and say, let me inform you on how it is that you need to be make an informed decision for yourself. They say, get the people out there to register to vote because they already know that listen, one of the reasons that politicians don't feel compelled to offer y'all anything in your communities is because they already know that you've already sold up the vote when it comes to voting blue in a specific way.
My wife ain't coming out unless it's the church. You bet that. You'll be seeing me. You won't be seeing me and my wife. Because she doesn't like coming out to the strip. She doesn't like doing anything. It's like, how the hell? And our question with my wife is all the time, how the hell do you come here and you don't do shit here? I follow the Lord. I'm like, okay. All right. I don't stop her. They've took, ever since she's been here, they've took trips. They have taken a lot of trips. And few of the times I've been with her, Florida and Utah. That's the only places I've been to. She's been to Paris, Rome, Italy, and there's one other place she's been to. I think Jerusalem. Next, I think they're talking about getting on a trip to go to Africa. And I don't even have my fucking passport. I want to go to Africa. If Pastor goes to Africa, then that's great. That's fine. That's where the first places I want to go. I want to see where he's going to go first. If he goes to Ghana, I am there.
Problem with this panel and what's been exhibited on this panel, which is clearly on front and center in the conversation, is that y'all have already made up your mind, regardless of whether or not you identify as a dependent or independent or a Democrat, that you're voting a certain way, and so they don't have to require anything for your vote.
Is that
so there's no reason for them to offer y'all anything or to solve for your communities, because you don't have no request, because they already know that they got you. That's so part of the reason is the cultural norms. Y'all already have sold yourselves and sold your souls and tied yourselves to a particular party, and they know that they don't have to offer you anything for your vote. So they're not going to fund your schools. They're not going to represent you. And I also know that they're going to be a reflection of the people that vote or don't vote for them, because y'all don't participate. And more importantly, the culture is not educated and informed on how it is that they need to be voting. So it doesn't even matter. I think that they're going to suffer. The only thing that other people in other states are saying is, don't bring California over here to Texas. Don't bring Chicago over here to Florida. They want people to stay in the spaces that they are and deal with the consequences that came along with elected officials that ultimately are representing and making decisions on their behalf.
Which they will not do. That is a pipe dream. People from California are already moving here to 3 particular states. One is Utah, the other one is Nevada, and the other one is Texas. Utah, Nevada, Texas. Utah, Nevada, Texas. People want to go out. People want to get out of California because they're sick of them. Because they're sick of their mayor there or governor or whatever. It's too polluted. It's too crowded, and there's a lot of people that coming over from there to over here in the state of Nevada where it's fun. I was like, where the hell do you come from? And another thing, the reason why they're moving over here is because the stadium is over here. There are 3 teams. There were 3 teams in LA. Now there are only 2. Two football teams. They have the football team that was Los Angeles / Oakland, now Las Vegas Raiders are here. Right? You got the LA Chargers, LA Dodgers. I forgot the other team, but everything is in LA, but they want to move. They literally want to move the fuck out of LA, out of California, because it's so crowded and so polluted and so high. But you're going to make it even more higher here. You're going to because we got to pay taxes off of those stadiums. We're the ones that have to pay the taxes. But it's much relatively cheaper here in Vegas. I don't know how, I don't know why. Over here, a 1-bedroom apartment used to cost you $1,600. Used to cost you $1,600. Now it's close to $1,900 to $2,300 for a 1-bedroom, depending on where you live.
It's a cultural problem. Has nothing to do with the legislators. The legislators is just a reflection of the people.
Where'd it go? I was there in April this year and didn't see it. Actually, I hit you up and you were never. You hit me up? You have my number? I don't remember you hitting me up. Maybe I wasn't in my right state of mind, but I don't remember you. Do you have my number? If you want, you can hit the panel or whatever, but I don't even remember hitting you up. I was trying to get. I don't even remember the place that I used to work at. I don't work at anymore. Not in one of my older posts. I am so ADHD right now. It is ridiculous. It is crazy. It is crazy. It is, like I said, the people, they want cheaper. But it doesn't matter where you go now. It doesn't matter where you go. Anywhere you go in the United States of America is relatively not cheap. Older videos. You got to explain. Listen, I don't look at my old videos. They're not like that unless they need some information. The oldest video I ever looked at is my interview with Umar. That's it. Other than that, two of them. Other than that, I don't remember there. I do not remember. And speaking of videos, I don't even know why I deleted that. Hold on. Because we are going to transition back over to Sonia Massey. We are going to transfer to Sonia Massey, but before we can do that, we got to go pay some bills. You know, got to be the boss to pay the cost to be the boss. Shit like that.
Get ready for the most glamorous event of the year, the U2B Streets Awards 2025, February 9, 2025, at Laven Midtown, located at 641 West 42nd Street, New York City. Join us at 12 p.m. for the pre-show red carpet extravaganza and a chance to win $500 in our fashion contest. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., enjoy the gold tier experience with speakeasy confessionals, press interviews, and premium cocktails. At 4 p.m., the platinum tier includes performances, a comedic host, an award ceremony, dinner, and gift bags. From 8 p.m., the diamond tier features a VIP after party with a DJ, aerial dance, fire performances, and gift bags. 24 YouTube categories. And many nominees. Can't attend in person? Stream the entire event live on Hush and Move Media via Uscreen for just $9.99. Get your early bird tickets before September 15, 2024. Visit now. Be a sponsor. Be extraordinary. Be there. Be great.
Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're not a member of We-On-Loc Nation, I suggest you do so. I might be putting down the prices a little bit cheaper, because I know people are struggling or whatever. It's only $1.99, but you said Red went in on for what? For what? I mean, I'm starting to worry about that guy. First he's for Umar. He's for the people. Now he's talking about fat bitches and Umar now. It's just some things that, and I don't mean to be mean or facetious or anything like that, but it just, I mean, you're gonna do it's content. I get it. I mean, when you look at the analytics, you look at your numbers, and you're losing. I could give a shit about numbers. This is a hobby. This is fun for me. If I can get 4 people to talk to me in a chat room, I'm winning. But you get these idiotic people here that expect something from you. You don't have to give me a motherfucking thing. But don't front. Stop fronting for you see your numbers for what it truly is, and I believe it, right? If you're used to like 300 people in the chat and you get down to 200 or 100, something like that, you got to find ways to get it back up. I get it. You sold your soul for numbers. Congratulations. Now, what does he have to say? I mean, let's look at Red. Who I really get sick and tired of niggas. What did he have to? He went in. What did he go in on? It couldn't be about this. It could be about the school because everybody's getting on him about that shit. What did he get in on? Shit. Not that I'm curious. Not that I care. Let me see. Red something. What's the brother's name? Because he went on women that just, I don't know. Some of these women need some help. Some of these women need help. Let me find the shit real quick. Real motherfucking quick. Go ahead, hit that like. Go ahead, hit that like button. Lemon. Oh, I do need that too. I do need that, but for some odd strange reason, that is not reparations. Is that it? What the? Okay, Red Supreme. Let's try Red Supreme. Let's see. Let's see here. This is old. What the? Let me see. This nigga trying. This nigga is trying. Let's see.
You guys hit that like button when you get up in here because YouTube been playing with the numbers. We get a lot of PA or any of these black conscious movements. The moment you hold women accountable, they get in their feelings. It's like they're allergic to. It's like they are allergic to accountability. Movements, you know. So I just wanted to say that, like Dr. Umar last week, when Dr. Umar gave black women a little pushback for some negative things they was doing, he didn't disrespect them. He didn't call them out of their name. Gave them a little bit of pushback, and they went off on Dr. Umar for holding them accountable for telling them the truth. Now, let me say this to black women in general. If it don't apply, let it fly. Black women hated Kevin Samuels, and all he did was tell you the truth about your dating options. Held you accountable for your delusion. Held you accountable for all these women names. You ain't got to disrespect them. All you got to do is hold them accountable with the things is getting scary. Where you at? Shout out to my people. Desmond Hill in the building, man.
Dr. Umar Johnson to unite with a Negro who tells black men they should date black women with white mothers or brags about how much they want to sex up a white girl. If you're telling me that they have something good that I need to unite with, then I'm going to have to question your sanity, brother. I am not the only person who should have an institution. I'm one of the last ones on the international circuit, and I'm the first one to an institution of those of us under 50 years old. That's not a.
This is so fucking old. Why do motherfuckers always seem to
acceptable? There was no Caribbean slave trade, American slave trade. British slave trade. It was one slave trade, which was largely controlled by the British, and they owned more than half of all Africans enslaved. So if most of us was under one slave owner, why in the hell do we want to separate from other victims of the same slavery? I'll tell you why. Because okay, for the first one.
A part of those movements, you be honest with those same women, they're going to get mad, they're going to get upset. So it only suits the people at the top of that movement. Because if you got a group of women who can't take, if you got a group of women who can't take constructive criticism for their men, from their men, then it's impossible to lead them. They'll never respect you.
I'm gonna, ladies and gentlemen, listen. What I'm going to do, right? I'm going to do a live tomorrow. And I want everyone in attendance for this one. Here's the topic. Men and their leadership. Where are they leading? What are they leading? They say we are the leaders, but we are the leaders and women should follow our lead. Where? Yeah, it is old. It is. I don't know. Let me see. Let me see the date on here. Let me see the date. Let me see the date. I don't want to get things. Oh, this. I think he did this one yesterday. But let me.
They'll come, they'll show up to these meetings if they feel like there's something beneficial for them, like they can get a man or get some attention. They'll show up for that. But already get civil rights when they come to America because of foundational Black Americans. What do we get when we go to Africa as Black Americans? Absolutely nothing. They want us to spend our money. They want us to spend all our money over there, but we get absolutely nothing. But they come to America, we're supposed to roll the red carpet out while they benefit off of everything we fought for as foundational Black Americans. The hell with Pan-Africanism. What has Pan-Africanism done for Black Americans? Let me repeat. What has Pan-Africanism ever done for foundational Black?
He has nothing else. What has Pan-African done for national Black Americans? You sound just as foolish as Tyree. You sound just as foolish as Tyree. But I'm gonna let you rock.
Americans, absolutely nothing. I'll give you the answer. Absolutely nothing.
What the fuck has foundational Black Americans given Pan-Africanism? What has foundational Black Americans given freaking Black Americans? The mink slide. Mink slide and what the hell is this shit? Oh, ism radio, a museum that has artifacts in it, not a real actual museum with big tall statues and everything. You got a little casing with books and shit. I can get a casing and put it in my office and show little small artifacts of Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Becker Edwards, the bus, the little map, or not map, but pictures of the tour buses where Martin Luther King and his posse boycotted because they wouldn't, not because of it was somebody else before Rosa Parks, but they utilized Rosa Parks for her bravery. There was somebody before Rosa Parks that didn't want to give up their seat, but they gave Rosa Parks her flowers. I could do that. I could put that in little artifacts. What else? Came out with some pimp books. Came out with the What's Up Pimpin'? I can understand that. Pimpin'. What's been pimpin'? Came out with some motherfucking pimpin' books. Foundational Black America. And by the way, you don't have that title anymore. Michi X has that. Oops.
This is the same thing with the Latinos. It's no different than with the Latinos. Africans supposed to benefit off of foundational Black Americans, but foundational Black Americans don't benefit from Africans. We get nothing when we go to Africa. No dual citizenship. We get absolutely nothing. But when they come to America, the red carpet is rolled out.
How the fuck do you supposed to get dual citizenship when you go to Africa? Africa is part of you. You don't put his own foot in this. Listen, again, I understand you need that money. You need that notoriety. You need them numbers, my nigga. I know you need them numbers. I know. So I'm gonna let these dudes rock and bust their head outside of a wall somewhere.
They benefit off of everything we fought for as Black Americans. That's a one-sided relationship, brother. Pan-Africanism ain't done shit for foundational Black Americans. Absolutely nothing.
We are one human family. Okay, so identity is very, very important for Pan-Africanists and for any organization that calls itself American but refuses to call itself African is an organization I cannot rock with. That's number one. Number two, central to Pan-African thought and ideology, one of our core principles.
This motherfucker don't even want to be African. Let him do what most of the people that are not from the United States, let them do what they do, just like he would do if he were not here in America. And that is, when it comes to nationality, he puts white, or excuse me, when it comes to the statuses, they put white. Let him put white. See how it feels. If you don't believe that you are a descendant of some African ancestry, you are a damn fool. You're foolish. Very, very fucking foolish.
Is that white supremacy must be overthrown internationally. It cannot be defeated regionally. You cannot defeat white supremacy regionally. We must all rise up at once. It must be an international concern.
They're not rising up with us. Did Africans from Africa come over here to America to fight the power, or did those same Africans align themselves with the white power structure? Let me ask you guys another question. When the Africans came to America, did they align themselves with the foundational Black Americans that fought for the rights they had when they come to this country? Or did the Africans align themselves with the white power structure once they got here to America? I would love to get you guys, give me an answer in the comments. I think we already know what it is. We're supposed to fight for a group of people who don't fight to help us do a damn thing. They don't fight with us to do a damn thing, but they will come over here for the free benefits, everything that we fought for. But we're supposed to fight for all Black people across the globe while nobody does nothing for us. Nah, homie, Pan-Africanism ain't done a damn thing for foundational Black Americans.
Effort by the global African family to destroy global white supremacy. Regional Black nationalism once, it must be an international concern overthrown international. Central to Pan-African thought and ideology, one of our core principles is that white supremacy must be overthrown internationally. It cannot be defeated regionally. You cannot defeat white supremacy regionally. We must all rise up at once. It must be an international concerted effort by the global African family to destroy global white supremacy. Regional Black nationalism will not overthrow a global enemy. Number three, okay, and probably the issue that I take most seriously with regard to
how can Africans help us? when they're allowing Chinese and white people to colonize Africa, take all their resources, but they want to come to America and listen us.
Wait, what?
When
three, okay, and probably the issue that I take most seriously with regard to
how can Africans help us when they're allowing Chinese and white people to colonize Africa, take all their resources, but they want to come to America.
That's not all. Some of those ambassadors over there have been hell bent to taking back most of the farmlands in Africa, most of the real estates in Africa. Not all governments, because I don't even know how that works. Is you're gonna make me get into that's all politics. You're gonna make me get into politics. But anyway, my first question would be to this gentleman: have you been to Africa before? Do you know how they work over there? I haven't been to Africa, but my aunt has several times. I think I ought to have her come on board and ask her a couple questions about how Africa works over there, how dual citizenship works over there versus over here in the United States of America.
But listen, Africans already got their reparations. When they come to America and get civil rights and checks as an immigrant, that's their reparations right there. Reparations.
They get their checks from the government. What the fuck are you talking about? They don't get no fucking reparation. What? If Africa got reparations, what is Haiti? What is Haiti? What is Jamaica? What the? Nelly, prove to me that anybody can prove to me that Africa has gotten their reparations. Please, I want to see that on paper.
That they never fought for. They received benefits that they never had to fight for. All these
they're from Africa, duh. Just like anybody from the international countries. If you came from Europe, if you came from Sweden, if you came from that part of the world, they're going to give you a grant. They're going to give you what's called a grant. What the fuck? Wow. Cuba. Fucking Cuba. Are you serious?
Africans come to America, they receive benefits, and they never fought for these benefits. They come over here to receive free stuff. And they ain't have to fight for none of this shit when they get here. They benefit off of our struggle.
Whoa. And another thing, not everybody gets dual citizenship when they come over here. You have to work for yours when you come over here to the United States of America. I can prove that few of my neighbors downstairs, they can absolutely tell you they had to work for theirs. Most of these motherfuckers is driving Uber and shit. What are you talking about?
Is foundational Black Americans. But if you take your black ass to Africa, you get nothing. Pan-Africanism is dead. It ain't done a damn thing for Black Americans. Absolutely.
No, you just scared being who you are as an African. But that's okay. You don't have to be. You don't have to be. Just go over there in a little white world. Go over there with the little FBAs over there. But once you cross them lines, do not bring your little reddish ass back over to when the grass gets greener. When we know how to cut our grass, we know how to cut grass and plant trees, motherfucker. Do not bring your happy black ass back over there to Pan-African world. Stay your ass where you at if you gonna do that.
Nothing. Take that Pan-Africanism bullshit back to Africa. It has no place here in America.
To the ADOS is the disidentification from our African immigrant brothers and sisters. I'm not disidentifying from nobody. Last time I checked, our Jamaican African brothers and sisters were enslaved. Last time I checked, our Cuban African brothers and sisters were enslaved. Last time I checked, our American African brothers and sisters were enslaved. We were all enslaved together. We were all brought from Africa together. Why am I going to disidentify from my Jamaican brothers and sisters, my Cuban brothers and sisters, my Black British brothers and sisters?
So now we got to look out for everybody across the world. They already get.
That's what Pan-African is. Duh. That's what a Pan-African is. They don't discriminate. They don't separate themselves. Freaking maybe you should study Jordan Booker T. Washington's book. Maybe you should study his book. I mean, that's about that. Maybe you should study his book because you know Booker T. Washington was a Pan-African too, you know.
Get reparations when they come to this country. They already benefit from our struggle. What else do we need to give these people? What else do we need to give them? We're supposed to share reparations in America. They need to fight in their homeland. All these Black people need to fight for reparations in their homeland.
You are a whole separatist, dude. I peeped your game out a long time ago. You ain't nothing but a fucking opportunist, dude. Opportunist. It's just sad. Everything that if it ain't turned green, you turn mean. That's all it is to it, man. You an opportunist. That's all that is.
Man, if you're from Jamaica, fight for reparations in Jamaica. You from Africa, fight for reparations in Africa. Fight for reparations from whatever country you come from. You don't deserve to come to America and reap the benefits from what foundational Black Americans fought for. We didn't already gave you enough. They receive all kind of benefits for some shit that they never fought for. These Africans never fought for the civil rights that they have in America. Foundational Black Americans fought for the civil rights that they get in America. Now you want us to share reparations with them? Get the hell out of here, Dr. Umar. Take that Pan-Africanism bullshit back to Africa. Period. It ain't done a damn thing for foundational Black Americans. Take it back to Africa. We don't want it.
Oh, now you were a foundational Black American. Just a minute ago, you were fucking Adolfs. And in another part, you was a Pan-African. Now you are a foundational Black American. Get the fuck out of here.
My African brothers and sisters, when we are all being victimized.
Just a opportunist. If I'm getting if Adolf is getting $1 million, he want to go on that side, right? But as soon as they start losing that money, he want to jump over to ABA or FBA. And if when Pan-African get money, he want to jump on the Pan-African bandwagon. Just say you green, nigga. This is retarded. Why am I even looking at this shit? This shit is so old. This thing that he's looking at is so damn old.
By the exact same oppressor. The Jamaicans were enslaved by the British. The African Americans were enslaved by the British, except for the last 90 years. So why are we separating when we were both enslaved by the same power? So let me get this right. There's only 3 million African immigrants in the United States. There's only 3 million African immigrants in the United States. We're going to start a fight with them, but we're not going to start a fight with the LBGT who has stolen everything that Black people have fought for. We're not.
All these immigrants, regardless if they're Black, white, or Latino, they're stealing our civil rights movement. They are leeching off of our civil rights as we speak. You can't just blame it on the LGBT. These immigrants, whether they're African or Latino, they're stealing the benefits. They're stealing the civil rights movement. They're hijacking everything we get. They receive benefits off of the shit that we fought for. You can't just blame it on the LGBTQ or whatever it's called, the alphabet community. He want to blame it on the alphabet community when the immigrants are doing the same thing. They're all hijacking our struggle. The rainbow communities hijacked our struggle. The immigrants are hijacking our struggle. We got to look out for foundational Black Americans first and foundational Black Americans only.
Nigga, again, you just saying that because you thought of it. You were listening to Tariq do a whole rant and thought it was so sweet that you gave that nigga a kiss, and all of a sudden you kissed the ring, and all of a sudden you are FBA person. Yeah, how many years has it been? How many years has it been? This so freaking fake. How many people that are FBA, and I challenge some of these FBA motherfuckers, how many years is going to be before FBA gets reparations? And who, what, and how? You're just as pitiful as Adolf's. You're just as pitiful. But at least Tone Talks and Yvette Cornell, they actually get their asses up and they talk to the people. They talk to the people in charge, right? They actually talk to the people in charge, and they lost a couple of times, right? They actually supported, I forgot what the brother's name was that owned Comcast or something like that. They at least supported a couple of brothers or two. I am not at all a fan of Yvette Cornell, but at least I respect the sister enough. Before she's talking about Umar, but everybody talks about Umar. I respect the sister enough. You got a gentleman who goes after immigrants after immigrant after immigrant when they basically work in this country for a paycheck. They don't come in this country for free, at least not all of them. I don't know where we need to dispel this myth altogether that every single Jamaican, African, European, whoever comes into this freaking country and gets dual citizenship and it gets citizenship, gets grants from the government and shit like that. We need to dispel that rumor. Just because you haven't gotten handed out anything, you're not gonna fucking get it. You're going to have to go to war. You're going to literally have to go to war in order for you to get reparations. Do you not understand that? They're not just going to hand it to you like that. No president, I don't care who it is going to hand you a check. It's not going to happen. But I would like for it to happen. I wouldn't want cash. Give me land, give me liberty, or give me death.
What do we look like? Adding everybody to the pot, homie. We done already done that, adding everybody to the pot. And you come up with nothing, and all the benefits goes to the immigrants, all the benefits goes to the rainbow community, and foundational Black Americans are left with nothing. We ain't going for that bullshit no more. Take that Pan-Africanism bullshit back to Africa. We don't want it here in America.
We're not going to start a fight with the Mexicans who have stolen everything Black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the feminists of the United States. We're going to start a fight with them, but we're not going to start a fight with the LBGT who has stolen everything that Black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the Mexicans who have stolen everything Black people have fought for. We're not going to start a fight with the feminists who have stolen everything Black people have fought for. There's about 50 million Mexican immigrants in this country, twice that number of homosexuals, 5 times that number of feminists. But instead of fighting with them, we're going to pick on the lowest group on the totem pole.
I hold the Latinos accountable all the time. I talk about Latinos way more than I talk about Africans, but Africans are no different. They just happen to look like us. So what do you mean we're not going to pick a fight? Nigga, we hold Latino. Why do you think I talk about hip hop? I talk about hip hop. I hold them accountable for lying about hip hop. They didn't create it. I hold them accountable for all these immigrants that's over here who are hijacking the civil rights movement. So I hold the Latinos accountable. If you listen to my content, I hold them accountable for hijacking the civil rights movement. I hold them accountable for leeching off of hip hop. And I'm gonna hold the Africans accountable for not doing anything for foundational Black Americans, but they want the red carpet rolled out once they come to America while they benefit off of everything we fought for.
Own kith and kin, African brothers and sisters, this group on the total. The more we become sincere in the struggle, the less ideology.
Shout out to and I need nothing. It's a one-sided relationship while they benefit from our struggle, but we get nothing once we go to Africa. They just want us to come over there to spend our money.
When does a speaker become?
Back to the phone line. We got Los Angeles on the line.
Game. We are sick of it. It is time to put our foot down. We are looking out for foundational Black Americans and foundational Black Americans only. Why don't they take our blueprint and fight for reparations in their country? Why don't they take our blueprint to fight for reparations in their country?
African American arrogance.
Okay, almost 200 years. So if the UK was the major enslaver of African people, it doesn't make any sense for Jamaica to have a reparations petition for England, Black America to have a reparations petition for England, Ghana for colonialism to have a reparations petition for England, you know, Kenya, a reparations petition for England. It doesn't make sense to give the same colonizer 1 million different reparation petitions when we are all one people. We should organize it, come together, work together, organize.
It ain't gonna happen. It's not gonna happen because you're gonna have Negroes like Red and Tariq always caterpilling. I'll put them in a centipede. And for those, you know what a centipede is. I'll put y'all in the motherfucking centipede. Y'all some centipede niggas. God dang. You be up in each other's asses all the time. Y'all can't even ask simple questions. Y'all just want to go after immigrants. And if we don't vouch for you, you're gonna call us Cubans. Salute, 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 salute. But hey, it is what it is. Let him make his little bubblegum money, and I'm gonna leave that nigga alone. I'm gonna transition to the last piece of our little video here. And I need to know if this woman was being set up. There may be evidence of that. We never know. And I know that people are relatively sick and tired of covering sad stories, but we got to put the story where it needs to be. Because I'm starting to believe after seeing this, that this woman was relatively set up. Fair use, fair use, fair use. I hate when this shit happens. Yeah, because I gotta go in a little bit. Take care of the wife.
Information is starting to leak out in the cracks of this Sonya Massey story. Huh? Information is starting to leak out in the cracks of this Sonya Massey story.
The situation surrounding Sonya Massey's incident has become increasingly complex. Sonya's mother recently disclosed that the police were aware of her mental health condition, yet they opted to use aggressive force regardless. Adding to the gravity of the situation, her son made a startling revelation. The police officer responsible for her death was actually acquainted with her. This twist changes everything, suggesting the possibility of a setup. the connections don't stop there. Sonia was known to Sean's girlfriend, and Sean's employment was secured thanks to his girlfriend's father. Clearly, Isabel holds significant influence in this relationship. This raises the question, if Sonia angered Isabel, could Sean have taken drastic measures in response? Did Sean enter that home with a malevolent plan? Or were the police complicit in setting Sonia up? The police were fully informed.
So we gonna stay abreast of this, but this is just a theory. This is just a theory. We gonna update y'all as it go. But it seemed fishy to me that she didn't have clothes on and something was going on outside her house.
On the day Sonia called 911 to report an intruder, it wasn't her first contact with the authorities. In the days leading up to the tragic event, multiple emergency calls had been made from her residence. In one such call, Sonia's mother, Donna Massey, alerted the authorities to her daughter's mental health crisis, pleading with them not to harm her. Donna described how Sonia, in a state of distress, was on the streets yelling, driven by paranoid schizophrenia. Donna was acutely aware of the dangers her daughter faced, which is why she specifically requested that no prejudiced officers be sent. In another call, an unidentified woman mentioned threats against her, followed by Sonia herself reporting an offense by a neighbor who had hit her with a brick. When a sheriff's deputy met Sonia at the hospital for medical treatment, she reiterated her story about the neighbor and mentioned breaking a window to escape. Sonia also informed the officer of her recent discharge from a mental health facility and recounted an earlier incident where a police officer tried to run her off the road. The situation was becoming increasingly alarming. Sonia's family has been relentless in their quest for truth, holding multiple press conferences. During a recent media appearance, Sonia's son, Malachi Hill Massey, revealed that on the day of the incident, another 911 call had been made, resulting in 2 officers arriving at their home. Malachi believes that Sean was present during this time as well. These revelations paint a troubling picture, suggesting a deeper conspiracy.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't there a little child involved? I'm not sure. Wasn't this same crazy ass incident that happened before Sonia Massey's murder? Wasn't it like a little child involved? I wonder.
Play. As the investigation continues, the pressing question remains, did Sean have a sinister motive? And were the police complicit in a tragic setup?
Of course, it's called white supremacy.
The search for answers persists. During a recent press conference, Sonia's son, Malachi Hill Massey, shared some startling information. He claimed that on the day of the incident, there was another 911 call, leading 2 officers to their home. Malachi suspects that Sean was among those officers.
Only other thing, Malachi, you may want to tell them is you think law enforcement came there earlier that day.
Okay, it was an incident that happened earlier that day, and I talked to 2 officers or whatever, and I believe that it's the same officer that shot my mother. I talked to his partner first, then the second officer, that's the one that I think the one that did that. I talked to them and they told me that because she was driving herself to the hospital or something, she wasn't even at the house when this was going on, but she was driving herself to the hospital. They told me that they were going to go there to help her, and then this happens.
This revelation has sent shockwaves through the internet. If Sean had been at the house before, it means he was aware of Sonia's mental health struggles, yet chose to act aggressively. This raises the critical question, was Sonia set up? It's worth noting that this isn't the first time this theory has surfaced. In an interview with CBS Morning, Sonia's father, James Wilburn, disclosed that he was initially told an intruder, not a police officer, was responsible for his daughter's death.
You know, I'm hearing that you were told conflicting stories. What were you told, the circumstances of this?
Well, I was never told that it was a deputy-involved shooting. We were under the impression that she was killed by the intruder or some other person from the street or something, and they just went in there and found her dead body. I did not find out that the deputies killed her until my brother asked for Sonia's address, and I gave it to him. And he said, brother, this says deputies involved. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
James also mentioned that Sonia had a premonition about the events that would unfold. Adding to the controversy, Sean had turned off his body cam during the interaction. It was only through his partner's body cam footage that the truth came to light.
Heart-wrenching thing that we've ever seen in our lives, but if it were not for the body cam footage, we would not have known that this occurred.
This raises suspicions about Sean's motives. Did he turn off the camera to hide his premeditated actions? Was this not a random act of violence as previously believed? One commenter noted that Sean called Sonia a crazy B word, suggesting prior knowledge of her mental state. This connection becomes even more intriguing when considering Sean's fiancée, Isabel Butterfield, who knew Sonia. Isabel and Sonia reportedly encountered each other at a mental health treatment center. Isabel was set to marry Sean, but given recent events, those plans are likely on hold.
I started doing some digging and I realized y'all said that Sonia had on a hospital bracelet. I looked up the closest place where she could have got medical care to her house, an 8-minute drive away, and guess where we ended up at? Capital Community Health Center.
Theories are emerging, with many believing Sonia had just left the health center before rushing home due to an altercation with Isabel. This detail is supported by the fact that Sonia was wearing a hospital bracelet when she died.
Could it possibly be that the police actually, especially Sean Graysen, who I'm talking about, actually caused the situation in the backyard, and then they took the call, which is why she didn't even have a chance to get clothes on? Because if I heard something in the driveway, wouldn't you automatically get dressed and at least try to be prepared just in case they try to come in the house?
The suspicious nature of the situation is further highlighted by eyewitness accounts. One person remarked on Sean's aggressive determination to enter Sonia's house, noting how Sonia pleaded, "Don't hurt me," as soon as she opened the door. Another questioned why Sonia remained on the phone with 911 dispatch until Sean instructed her to hang up. These details paint a disturbing picture of the events leading.
Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is dropping its first cast album.
I want to put this album together with real artists.
With new love.
Leading to Sonia's death, suggesting a potential conspiracy involving Sean, his fiancée, and possibly the police. As the investigation unfolds, the pursuit of truth continues. Sonia Massey's tragic encounter took an even darker turn when she requested her Bible, a clear indication that she was aware harm was imminent. This has intensified public demand for a thorough investigation, particularly focusing on the average response time in the area compared to Sean Graysen's response time on the day of the incident. The potential premeditation behind these events raises further questions about whether Sean's partner was also involved. Sean Graysen's dubious past has only added to the mounting suspicion surrounding him. As his name hit the headlines, many began to dig into his background, uncovering a slew of troubling details. It turns out that Sean wasn't hired as a police officer purely on merit. His girlfriend's father's influence was a decisive factor. Records obtained through the Freedom of Information Act revealed that Sean's personnel files listed his girlfriend as his emergency contact and her father, Scott Butterfield, as his reference. Scott, a former sheriff's deputy who retired after 30 years of service in 2020, provided a glowing recommendation that seemingly secured Sean's job. Further investigation revealed that Mr. Butterfield had described Sean as a
secured his job, but yet he had at least 6 violations. He went through 6 different departments, 6 violations, including the one where he was discharged in the military. And you still think he was a good deputy, a good sheriff, or whatever how they call it, a good sheriff in the eyes of who? White supremacy.
Mellow, non-confrontational person with good communication skills, highly recommending him for employment. Sangamon County Sheriff Jack Campbell admitted that Sean's personnel file included references from people he trusted. However, this raises a critical question. Did everyone ignore the warning signs simply because Sean had a reference from someone credible? Sean's employment history is littered with red flags. Between 2020 and 2024, he worked at 6 different law enforcement agencies, including the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office. Alarmingly, he had 2 DUI convictions within a single year, one of which led to his premature discharge from the Army. Despite these serious issues, a psychological evaluation in May 2023 declared him fit to serve. However, the evaluation did note his tendency to act impulsively and recommended that he take high-stress management classes he never attended. Sheriff Campbell's claim of being unaware of any issues at Sean's previous workplaces is contradicted by records that show Sean was investigated twice for misconduct at the Logan County Sheriff's Office. One supervisor's report specifically highlighted Sean's insubordination during a high-speed chase.
We're at the end of 2nd Street. She's taking that right. Are you pursuing? I'm about to terminate. She's flying up 121 right now.
Despite being ordered to terminate the chase, Graysen continued relentlessly. To evade detection, he turned off his sirens and lights, a decision that backfired when he crashed into a deer.
Until he hit a deer.
Well, I'll definitely be terminated because a buck just smacked the side of my driver's side door.
Did you violate a direct order
Yes.
from a supervisor about termination?
Yes, I did.
Graysen was.
Additionally, there's a damning report from his boss at the Auburn, Illinois Police Department dating back to 2022. This review, written by the Auburn chief for a Logan County representative, highlighted significant concerns about Graysen's performance. While struggling with report writing might be forgivable, the chief noted more severe issues. Graysen exhibited aggressive behavior and irresponsibly posted about an illegal substance arrest on social media. Yet, Sheriff Campbell seemingly ignored these red flags. Instead, he provided reporters with a skewed rationale for his oversight, suggesting that comments about Graysen needing more training were standard for deputies of his experience, and that he was subsequently sent to a mandatory 6-week academy. Campbell further justified that a DUI conviction does not disqualify a candidate, and saw Graysen's questionable employment history not as a liability, but as evidence of his ambition to advance to larger, more structured departments. This stance is contradicted by Mark Ayers, a Sangamon County board member responsible for hiring deputies, who claimed he was never informed of Graysen's troubled past or the negative reports from previous employers, an omission that many find hard to believe. This raises serious concerns about the police hiring practices.
I would never bring up. I applied to over 200 tech jobs and got rejected from every single one of them. And then on someone that had that troubled past with that record.
There are indeed numerous questions surrounding Graysen. Why did everyone around him trust him so blindly? Why did his father-in-law back him so strongly? Are they partly to blame for his actions? The situation escalated further when Graysen's grandmother-in-law publicly defended him amidst the growing public outcry. She wrote an op-ed titled, "Does Anyone Care About Sean Graysen's Family? Or What Horrifying Reality They Are Dealing With?" which incited even more anger. In her article, she addressed the protesters, questioning their motives since Sean was already in jail, charged, and awaiting trial. She urged them to stop protesting, criticizing their actions as unnecessary and disruptive. Her words sparked outrage as readers felt she missed the point entirely. The protests were not just about Sean's current incarceration, but about why he was on the police force in the first place, despite his troubling history. The public's frustration was rooted in systemic issues and the failures of those who enabled him, reflecting a broader call for accountability and justice in the wake of Sonia Massey's tragic death. The controversy surrounding Sean Graysen's actions goes beyond his individual culpability, highlighting a deeper systemic issue within the police force that urgently needs addressing. Even if Graysen is placed in handcuffs, it does not erase the tragic loss of life he caused.
Nothing like a weak ass bitch and their hypocrisy in their white privilege. Like you can just tell somebody that's protesting to go home. See, we're not only protesting that your weak ass grandson-in-law, Sonya Massey, we're protesting the fact that why was his weak ass on a police force in the first place after having 4 years and 6 jobs under his belt, not to mention the two DUI convictions. You knew about that, right? Yeah, you knew about that. That's also part of this protest. He shouldn't have been there in the first place to kill an unarmed black woman.
Graysen's grandmother-in-law, Butterfield, further inflamed public sentiment with her op-ed. She asked, "Does anyone care about Sean's family or what horrifying reality they are dealing with?"
This is the obviously the letter that I guess the grandmother had wrote or whatever, whoever that was that supported Graysen. Listen to this bullshit.
What about his fiance? He was to marry in October. She is an innocent woman who also is unfairly being persecuted. Does anyone care about the destruction of her life? She is left to deal with an emotional death. She continued to emphasize the impact on Sean's future in-laws and grandparents, all of whom still support him and feel a profound sense of disbelief and shock. These comments were met with widespread outrage. Many questioned why Sean's family should be seen as the primary victims when Sonya Massey's family and friends are the ones enduring the real loss. The children of the mother whose life was taken are the ones facing the greatest tragedy. The suggestion that Sean's fiancé is dealing with an emotional death was particularly infuriating to many.
This weak ass bitch talks about horrifying realities. Did you all have to bury Sean last Friday like Sonya Massey's family had to bury her? Did you all have to contend with the fact that you don't even have all of the circumstances and details surrounding why your weak ass grandson-in-law, since that's what you want to call him, even shot their loved one in the first place? You want to talk about horrific reality.
The line that incensed the public the most was, "We will always support Sean."
One more thing before we head out. And that's this piece of pathetic piece of dog crap. And you didn't have to sit through this. I just thought it would be nice to see this motherfucker rot in prison. Not in a jail cell, but in prison.
That the deputy, the sheriff's deputy, has resigned. This comes as we're taking our first look at newly released video from inside the jail where the deputy he hired, Sean Graysen, was booked on murder charges for killing Sonya Massey. So again, breaking news that the sheriff there has resigned. But remember, Graysen was fired and charged with murder after he shot and killed Massey while responding to her 911 call in July, seen here in police body cam footage. The newly released video shows Graysen interacting with Menard County deputies, being escorted into a holding cell, then later posing for his booking photos. Graysen can also be heard discussing the charges against him and saying he thinks he'll get out soon. Take a listen.
I can't imagine that they're not going to release me. They're saying my charges are first-degree murder, aggravated with a weapon, and official misconduct. That's what the state's attorney made the charges. So I said this is for my own safety. Hopefully I'll be out tomorrow.
Graysen has pleaded not guilty to the charges. It comes as he is set to appear virtually for a court appearance about right now. So NBC's Umar Ifatunde,
Either he's delusional or there's something that we don't know. All I know is if the jurors do not find him guilty, it's on and popping. I am telling you. I don't be saying things to be saying them. Let him not be guilty.
outside the courthouse in Springfield. So more, I want to talk about this video, but first let's talk about the sheriff now announcing that he's resigning. Of course, this is someone again who hired this officer who killed Sonya Massey.
Yeah, Yamiche, I was actually in the courtroom as the hearing just wrapped when we got the letter from the sheriff. The sheriff is the person who hired Deputy Sean Graysen and has admitted that there were flaws in his hiring process, but until now had resisted calls to resign. He just posted a letter saying that he is retiring at the end of the month, and he is even somewhat resistant in the letter that he wrote and he posted. I want to read some of it. He said, despite the efforts that he was working on in the community, some want me to pay the price for the person's actions, referring to Deputy Sean Graysen, threatening that I pay the price with my life, my family's lives, or the lives of my deputies. He had previously said that the calls for him to resign were a political play. And so the fact that he's choosing to retire now and is saying as much in his...
Oh, typical. Typical. Run, flee, and hide. Run, flee, and hide. Typical white people. Typical white supremacists, I should just say that. When it gets a little bit too deep, oh, they don't want to get involved, but you supported them. So you're just as involved as you're just as guilty as what Officer Grayson did, Gracie did, or whoever his name is.
His statement is really telling. But as for that video that was obtained, that's the night that Graysen was booked, and it's really telling and kind of matches up with the personnel records that we've been digging into over the last couple of weeks as I've been following this story. He had been accused of misconduct in the past, and you kind of see him try to play into that with the deputy saying, hey, we'll take care of you while you're here. He talks about getting out the next day, and so it really kind of speaks to his overall demeanor about the severity of the situation, Yamiche.
Yeah, and that's big news that sheriff is resigning, because I know I talked to Sonya Macy's father just last week, and he was really distraught at the idea that this was an officer who had moved, who had had a lot of complaints. So big news there. But I also want to ask you about the details of this booking video. What can you tell us there?
Yeah, so this again is something that that came out from a FOIA request.
Scatter like roaches when the lights come on.
And Graysen is talking about how he was going to be released the following day. That, in fact, did not happen. He was hopeful that this new law in Illinois that eliminates cash bail and allows for pretrial release was going to play into his favor. He, in fact, has been held since mid-July. We actually just got out of a hearing where his lawyers were arguing he should get that pretrial release. They were trying for it again, and the judge just denied that. So Graysen will remain held, and his lawyers have the opportunity to appeal that decision, but that'll come in the next couple of weeks. His next hearing isn't until the end of August. And so as we understand it, Graysen will remain in custody at least until then, Yamiche.
Yeah, well, definitely a story we will keep on following very closely. Thank you so much, Margaret.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about...
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. I am not shocked nor surprised. But I do want to extend my love and my support to the Macy family. Share this out whenever you can, because again, we're getting ghosted, and I understand that it hurts. It hurts like hell to want to see a person go out the way that she did. And just like any other man who was innocent in cases like Ahmaud Arbery, for example, the same goes with Sonya Massey. The same way goes is Sandra Bland, and I mean the list goes. It's a ridiculous list. It's a long list, and I often cringe over things like this because I know it is not going to be an easy road. But I am going to tell you this: if you don't want to happen to you what happened to her, I suggest we start having these meetings a little bit more often. In your city, wherever. If we have to do a Skype, if we have to do a Zoom, I don't want to do YouTube. Well, let me think about it. Let me think on that. Let me think on that. But we have to continuously have these these conversations. I don't want to hear no more about it's like if she would have had the boy. I don't want to hear all that. I might just block you. I might just time you out. I might just block you. It all depends on what mood I'm in. Or I don't want to hear no conversations about females and it just, listen, a female-male relationship has nothing to do with this particular situation. Okay? The woman was by herself, schizophrenic, and needed help. All right? She needed some help. And of course, you know, we have all our coded mechanisms and everything. Right? We have all our coded mechanisms. And I understand where people are coming from. But if you would have saw, let me go to this real quick. Let me go to this and I'll be out your head. Let me go to this real quick. Let me go and find the actual thing that this is what I want to see more of. If you know what I'm talking about, this is what I want to see. Ooh, Gambit. This is what I want to see more of. And this is what I want to see when when that trial happens. When the trial happens and shit just gets out of control, I want all of us to be there. I want all of our asses to be there.
Reform our hearts. We have to stop with the things we see going on in the black community. We dying on two fronts. Sonia Macy being killed was killed by what? The oppressor. But how many black men and black women got killed by our own people? These are the things that we refuse to acknowledge. The marijuana in the community, the drugs in the community, the gangbanging in the community, the sexual promiscuity in the community. Why do we not come together to reform our hearts and to return back to the Lord? His hand is not short that it cannot save, but we must acknowledge these things. Because guess what? God brought us to this place for what? Our disobedience.
Because of our disobedience.
And the only way we're going to leave this place is when we decide to no longer be disobedient. That's the reality of the situation, brothers and sisters.
Reality.
Give me Lamentations 4:17, real quick. Because our brothers from the Nation of Islam said a lot of great things, right? That came from scripture. And everything that our brothers and sisters have been saying up here is rooted in scripture. It's rooted in the word of God, right? We hear things going on about politics.
Oh, who gives a shit, right? None of these motherfuckers give a shit. The only way, and if you see in the background over there, are the Muslims. I don't know what temple it is, but you got Muslims in the back. All right. You got middle age, you got young to middle age. And I was so proud of that boy. I was so freaking proud of that little boy carrying around the RBG flag. I was so proud of him. Why can't we have more of that, huh? Why can't we have more of the youth say what they need to say? They need to express themselves. I'm talking about from the youth on up. And express themselves for how they feel. Express themselves. Do they feel that they feel comfortable here with all this carrying on? No, They don't feel comfortable here. They will never be in a more comfortable, applicable place if we do not, and I can say this carefully, if we do not organize accordingly. When you get tired, you let me know. To hell with we ain't talking about Umar. We ain't talking about Umar. We ain't talking about Tariq. We ain't talking about none of these people. They're doing their thing right now. It's time for us to step up because I can't do this by myself.
Kamala Harris, things like that. This is not what's going to solve the situation. This is not what's going to solve it. That's the reality. The definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting what? A different result. Read that. Lamentations 4 and verse 17 for me. Lamentations 4 and verse 17. We're going to show you real quick. Read that.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 17. As for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help.
The Bible says our eyes have failed for our vain help. The vain help is the judicial system. The vain help is the Democratic Party, the Republican Party. This is our vain help. Why? Because we are still seeing black men and black women dead in the street as a result of the judicial system that we trust in. The Bible says it is vain help. Why? Because God is saying that is not the solution to your plight. It's not. Read.
And are watching.
And are watching for what? A solution, right? We thought Obama was the next Moses, right? Now they're trying to put what? Another black face in front of us, like Kamala Harris, right? Read.
And are watching. We have watched for a nation that could not save us.
You see what the Bible says? The Bible says this nation cannot save you, brothers and sisters. We were not brought here to America for salvation. I want y'all to understand that. This is not our home. No. We have forgotten that we even have a home.
Yes.
God said he has a kingdom prepared for his children. You have a home that God will give you if you just return to him in righteousness. That's the reality, brothers and sisters. Yes. This is Babylon that you read about in the scripture.
Yes.
This is the den of Satan.
Yes.
Y'all live in Las Vegas. What is Vegas called? Do y'all know what Vegas is called? Sin City. So guess what? That's letting you know this land was not built on righteousness. So how
Sin City, the city that never sleeps, doesn't matter.
Expect righteousness to come from it. They killed our ancestors and built a courthouse on top of their bones.
Yes, yes.
And then speak to us justice. I want y'all to.
I want to skip this. I want you to listen as this lady blows her horn as these idiots blow their horns. It's just so disrespectful, but this woman here took it like a champ. Let me see.
Got a motive. And what if imagine if that sister.
I just want to say real fast as the only female to be in the microphone today. Hey, lady. Hey. Hey, lady. Hey. Okay, so this is our sister, right? And what happened to her was tragic, was cowardly, was a bunch of BS, all of the above. But I want to just remind all of you all and myself, we ain't no punks out here. So even though I agree, black women should be protected. Black women do need to be protected. My protection is at work. And he gave me some protection that's under my seat to stand in his place while he's working. I'm not a punk out here. We are not punks out here. There's a lot of things besides the fact that we just watched yet another, and let's not forget that line, yet another black woman be killed by a police officer. There's a lot of other things we got to keep in mind. Like, I'm standing here holding this mic in my hand, and this body belongs to me. So nobody, whether it's a man or a woman, a governmental office, a politician, nobody's gonna make decisions about this body that I'm standing here holding this microphone. That's right. And it may seem contradictory. I'm getting ready to sing this gospel song, and y'all need to know I'm a PK, and I love the Lord more than I love myself, more than I love anything on earth. And I still believe nobody's gonna make a decision about my body that I don't make first. So, ladies, I just want to remind you, we got to do your two. We are to be protected, but protect yourselves. Remember that we're something worth something. We should reach out for ourselves. Amen.
Just so damn disrespectful. They ain't got nothing else. You have nothing else better to do. If you can't hear that in the background, we just got. I was looking to my immediate right, and we just have people just blowing their horns and shouting obscenities, and it's just pathetic.
All right, let me close this out like you asked me to. Oh, and doesn't really matter how much they try to reiterate.
I forgot who this one was. Hold on.
All right.
It was a nice atmosphere that day. Nice atmosphere. Young, old, middle age. We had the Hebrew Israelites there, the NUI there, the NAACP and the Black Panthers, all in one place. It's not exciting because a woman got murdered, but it was exciting to see everybody there.
Close us out as we get to this visual. Put your hands together, y'all, for State Senator Pat Spearman, y'all.
Hey,
so you say the best for the best. He covers our state senator, y'all. Our elected official, the only one that's here that I know of, and I love to do it. Commissioner first did call to give his vote. He could not be here. So I'm not stand right here because it's just better. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I'm not going to be long. I think we've heard probably 4 or 5 sermons, but I'm going to hopefully reiterate the call to action. I don't know if you all heard about 2 minutes ago, there were some people who are allergic to common sense and allergic to intelligence who pulled up at the light and just started blowing the horn because they were fascinated with that technology. But we know better. Amen? Amen. We know better. And it doesn't really matter how much they try to drown out our voices, as long as we keep talking, as long as we keep marching, as long as we keep on keeping on, ain't nothing they can do about it.
If it were up to me,
and that's what makes them upset.
Hold on. If this were totally up to me, I add some extra men, extra arsenals, with some arsenals, not anything heavy in particular, like a baseball bat or something, and I'll just start swinging. But luckily, I wasn't in charge because, you know me, I'm not violent. So you keep beep, 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 you honking your horn when, like, come on, think about, imagine if that were your family member. Imagine if that were your mother. But you don't even give a damn about your own fucking mother. You don't. You obviously don't, but you want to have the Mexican parades on it. You have the Mexican parade. You got the Cinco de Mayo's that you have every fucking year. Then you got the white parades, the gay parades, and anybody them motherfuckers pass away, you have no problems going doing a parade or a celebration or a rally or any of that stuff. If we get the honking our horns, y'all be so quick to fight, right? But as soon as y'all honk your horns, we be at peace. Don't get it freaking twisted, man. We tired. We are literally tired. And if I start raising my voice,
when you don't sink to their level and when they can't deter you, that's what makes them upset. So The next time they do that, I hope y'all hear me out there. It's a horn. It's been around for a while. And I promise you, if you don't blow it, it will still work tomorrow. I'm not really able to look at the entire clip because I thought to myself, this is not 1913, 1955. What is this? What is this about? And having served in the military police branch, I know for a fact that what that officer did was not only uncalled for, but it was illegal. And it is my firm hope and belief that he will be treated like other murderers and justice will take place.
That's right.
We will see. We will see. And let me transit. See, I moved around a little. I should have just stayed in.
Let's get it to a 10. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
One more time. I want this to be real good. I want you to hit it in your diaphragm like me, my singers. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
That was real good. I almost slipped the cuss, y'all. Until you forget it. Make some noise for yourselves, y'all.
Yeah, if you want to look at that's on the We-On-Loc Nation channel. We ride for Sonya Massey. We certainly do. And I would love to share my blood, my family, my spirit to the Massey family. Because in the end, we all we got, fam. We all we got. Let's do the same thing while I know we would do the same thing while people are dead and gone. Let's do that now while people are still alive. It's We-On-Loc Nation signing off.